live streaming genuinely for Undergods, because normally we do this in a theatre and record it and then stream it or similar, but things are a little bit different today. So thanks for joining us. Hope you're looking forward to an afternoon of Dungeons and Dragons. My name's Chloe. I will be your dungeon master today. And for anyone who is dropping in who might not be totally familiar with D&D, here's how things work. Basically, the people to my left and right, well, left, right, all over the place basically, play fantasy characters in a fantasy universe. They all have unique characters with specific things they're good at or unique powers, things they're bad at, etc. And they play those while I play everything else, the people they meet and the places they go, their teenage children, their, you know, kind of first mates on remote ships and such like. And whenever anyone tries to do something that might not be straightforward, we roll dice normally. You'll see, well, you'll kind of might see bits and pieces of people rolling these kind of dice, 20-sided ones. Ones are bad, 20s are wonderful, and everything else is on some kind of a scale of that nature. Before we recap the story and introduce all the characters, a few things to note. For anyone who's seen our streams before, this one will look a little bit different because, as you can see, we're trying to use some subtitling, live captioning technology. This is very much an experiment for us. It's the first time we've used it, and we're very much trying it out. We've had some glitches whilst we've been setting up, but we want to see how well it works. So yes, we'll be aware there may be some things with it that go wrong and don't go totally smoothly, but we are currently having a go at testing it out today. Also, this will run for about 3 to 3.5 hours, slightly depending on people's choices, and we will take a 10-minute break in the middle as well. And we play with a diverse group of players who play a diverse set of characters with wide-ranging gender and sexual identities. Our tables are trans-positive, and we encourage and champion trans players and characters in our games. Myself and the players may portray characters that are of a different gender to our own, and we have aimed to avoid misgendering, but we acknowledge that it does happen, and we have a policy in place for correcting it. If we miss an instance, however, we are open to being corrected, so do let us know if you think one's been missed. We also, you might see these during play, pause cards, which everyone has. And these are basically used if anyone feels uncomfortable during the game for whatever reason and needs to have a little pause and we check in to make sure everyone's okay. Or someone might use it to check in to see whether someone else is okay, because they might not be totally sure. If someone does use one, we will have a little short break. You'll see the kind of screen change to "we'll be back very shortly," just while we check in with everyone to make sure everyone's comfortable and good to play. So we are super delighted today that Undergods is now sponsored by Hero Forge, who offer fully customizable tabletop minis. It's incredibly cool. They have dozens of fantasy races, thousands of different parts and like weapons, clothing, steeds, etc. to choose from, plus an easy to use design tool that lets you build your perfect miniature using a full 3D in-depth character creator just using your web browser. So if you want unique minis or even like the perfect mini of your own character, do check them out at Hero Forge. It's heroforge.com, nice and simple. So we are delighted also to be sponsored by D&D Beyond, the official digital toolset for Dungeons & Dragons. They offer a compendium of all the game's rules, lore, adventures, and digital tools like character builders, encounter builders, digital character sheets. Let me see which way I need to point. This way. You can see kind of David's got his on his phone, and also if you click on the overlay at the side, you can see everyone's character sheets as well. And also, the Digital Dice Alpha is going to be coming soon to D&D Beyond, which means that anyone with a Master or Hero tier subscription will have early access to rolling dice for any check, attack, and much more directly from your sheet. Do check that out. Not quite sure when that's coming out. It might even be today. We are lastly sponsored by Ultra Pro, who help you get your tabletop organised with character folios, dice bags and more. They do a huge number of things. They are a leading supplier and manufacturer of sports and gaming collectibles. For instance, things like this little fella, Xanithesce dice bags and such like, which are super cute. And also we are supported by Thornless Rose, who produces amazing handcrafted leather gaming accessories, handmade dice sets, so much more. And if you go to thethornlessrose.co.uk and use the code Undergods10, you get 10% off anything in the store, which is awesome. So, on to Undergods and story things. In terms of story recap, basically everyone who is here playing a character, all their characters are undergods, which means they are descended from different deities and have some unique powers and abilities because of that. And they've been called together to help a group called the Tree stop the rebuilding of a monument called the Esterno Circle. Basically what they know is it's bad, it's powerful, some element of it aged one of them by 6 years in like 6 seconds. Yeah, Tander's still probably not over that. And currently they are chasing down various magical objects which would be used in the construction of this to try and stop it. So they have saved, for instance, an item called the Heart of Beasts from a tomb. They interrupted a ritual which meant that a crown was kind of frozen inside of a part of this big henge. And now they are on their way to try and chase down some individuals who they've scryed for to find Cloud Killer, a magical item, and also hopefully find the person who is apparently responsible for all of this. But there are a lot of questions around that because some people are mysteriously older than they should be, and some people apparently died and are now alive, so there's various mysteries wrapped up in all of this. So let's go round. If you can go like alphabetical order by your first names, since we don't have a table, but there is no left to right.
That's me.
And if you could just give your pronouns and your name, your character's pronouns and their name, and a little bit of detail about them. And my name's Chloe, and my pronouns are she, her.
Hello, I'm Chris, my pronouns are he and they, and I play Rathar, who uses they, them pronouns. Rathar is a changeling, so Rathar will occasionally have different pronouns depending on which persona they are in, and I will try and define those each and every time there is a shift. Rathar is currently in the persona of Cornar, a very short, very grumpy dwarf, so that will influence my how Rathar sounds for the first bit, surely. Apart from that, Rathar is a changeling. Unlike other changelings in this world who have a sort of separate community, Rathar was raised as part of this world, and thus doesn't know all the ins and outs of changeling society, which has come up quite a bit. Rathar also, for a changeling, because I remembered them, finally, first time in months, Rathar wears pink sunglasses that no matter what Rathar changes into are always present, so it's also a bit of a dead giveaway about Rathar's changelingness because someone didn't read the memo about being a spy. Anywho, that's Rathar, and we'll see how things go today.
Hello, I am David Alwyn, and I use he/him pronouns, as does my character Tender Levinkir, who is a tiefling, grey skin and black horns. He is a retired adventurer who has been pulled back in by the Tree to do this one job, and therefore has had to leave his teenage daughter in the care of various people, currently the Tree, whom he's slowly learning that he shouldn't trust, which is kind of causing just general high levels of anxiety going on in Tender at all times. That's kind of his whole bag. He's not doing so well right now.
Hi, I'm Griff. My pronouns are they and them, and I am playing a character whose name can only be said if you can change the color of your skin at will. So they're known as Aware, and they use they, them pronouns. They have many different personas and masks that they wear who have a variety of different pronouns. At the moment, they are in the form of Darla, who is kind of an off-the-rack sexy pirate costume of a human being. And are currently astride a horse trying to figure out how to do something about people 200 feet away and coming at them with intent.
Hi, I'm Hannah. My character's pronouns are she, her, and I play Phoebe, who is a cleric who's on her first big adventure, and who's got a bit of an absentee god dad, who keeps giving her weird visions that she has only now started confiding in other people properly. Phoebe has recently taken a turn for the sort of darker side of things, including burning a lot of horses, taking necromancy spells, you know, the usual teenage rebellion.
Hello, my name is Tom. I use he, him pronouns, and so does my character Polaris. Polaris is a water genasi or water genie, depending on how you come at these things, and he takes the appearance of effectively a humanoid-shaped large amount of water. He is a humanoid, but his body, as has been established many times, does not have any bones. He's just a reshaped mass of water. He has a complicated relationship with the sea, shall we say, because the undergod power that he was imbued with, thanks to his lineage, is, or at least initially seemed to be the power to dispense lightning, which when you grow up underwater doesn't end particularly well. So he was rather rapidly and reluctantly exiled from his people and spent his days being as close to the sea as he could by becoming, of all things, a ship's captain. And briefly a pirate, but then he became a privateer. That's a licensed pirate. For you and I, and he ended up working for various groups, notably the Tree, the sort of superhero team that we're all working for, and he has a very mercenary relationship with the Tree. Rather like Tender, he's recently begun to rethink that. He doesn't think much about his relationship with the Tree and whether he trusts them because they always pay him on time, and they've recently agreed to pay him the higher rate that would be required for him being the leader of this little group, a role he did not want to take on because it is more work, but at the same time he's the one with the captaining experience, and let's just say the first few sessions gave away a need for someone to maybe make some final decisions on some things, and so he very reluctantly became leader at the moment, and right now he's rather pleased with the situation. They've got an objective, they seem to have some things to hunt down and indeed some people to look for, so they seem to have a direction to go in, but their progress in that direction has been waylaid slightly by being ambushed by crossbow people. That's people with crossbows, not people made with crossbows. So, Chloe, if you want to run with that idea...
I mean, that sounds so cool now.
Definitely.
Yeah, disappointingly, you have been ambushed by humanoids on horseback with crossbows rather than animated crossbows. I'm now sorry to say. But yes, we left you all kind of riding on horseback through the forest of Ishtema to try and find, in particular, Marron Elestnal and Celeste Xanithesce, for two very different reasons, but both relatively urgent. And you were ambushed by three individuals wearing kind of cloth masks and such, like shooting at you with crossbows. Currently, most of you are still ploughing on ahead on your horses. Tender, during the combat, ended up slung underneath his horse, and that horse has been commanded to stop to hopefully make it a bit easier for you to get back on. And notably, Polaris currently has one of the ambushing individuals sat directly in front of him on his horse, who has also been commanded to stop, so is currently just frozen, staring you straight in the eyes. However, two individuals who were waylaid with the use of hypnotic pattern have regained their senses, as have their horses, and so about probably 180 feet back, because it takes so many turns to shake someone out of that stupor, about 180 feet back, there are still two individuals chasing you. And we start with Aware. What would you like to do?
Well, I think the problem is range. They're very far away. So I think I'm just going to keep my horse in the same... No, I'll ask this. Have I ridden past where Tender's horse has stopped yet?
You were all kind of within like 30 feet of each other, and so you've gone past that kind of rough point.
So I have gone past.
Yeah, just because that horse has stopped.
Okay, well, what I might do then is rein my ride around and bring it up beside Tender's and just grab the reins, so that the horse isn't gonna bolt or go anywhere.
Isn't gonna suddenly do that. Okay.
This rearrangement of rider happens.
That is very fair.
But I will keep my horse, like, if Tender's horse is facing the way everybody else is going, my horse will be facing the opposite direction, facing at the people who are coming at us. So that I've still got the short bow in one hand and the reins in the other, should they get within range to get shot, basically.
Okay, cool. Just to check, are you, because that's basically using your horse's movement, and I'm fine for you to grab reins. Is there an action you want to ready, or are you going to kind of like ready the help action for getting Tender up back on his horse, or is it an attack?
I would ready a shot for the first rider to come within 80 feet.
Okay, what I'm going to say is for that you've got your arm looped through the reins, so you can still have 2 on the bow. Cool. So as soon as, what's the range on your short bow?
80.
80. Okay, cool. So we are on to Wrath.
They are between 120 and 180 feet behind us.
Yes.
Can they see us?
Yes. You've got like slight cover. Like I said, you all kind of got like a +2 bump to AC because of the cover of the trees in this forest, but you can see them and they can see you.
Cool. In which case, I will pull a deck of cards out of my pocket that I picked up earlier. How do you want me to make an illusion appear so it doesn't look like I'm making an illusion appear? It's up to you. I want this to be something that they genuinely go like, whoa, this might be a problem over us, and then I'm going to keep going.
Well, I'm pretty sure that the deck, like, it makes something appear and then people roll to see if they're convinced by it, right?
They have to use an action to identify it as an illusion.
Well, then in that case, you can make it appear and, like, they'll treat it as real unless they get suspicious and use their action on doing that.
I am shuffling the deck. Hey. Because it has to be random. I can't choose what it is. I have to pull a card at random.
Yeah.
So
let's see if it's something they're threatened by or not. I mean...
I'm also... You said our movement is basically our horse's movement.
Yes.
Like the horse keeps about dashing. Then I will keep dashing, so 60 feet further ahead. But before I go, I will pull out this card and throw it down onto the ground behind me. It is the Queen of Diamonds, which is a night hag. So a strange, wizened, fiendish hag just grows out of the ground and a horrible and probably starts like pretend casting magic and like looking creepy and weird, because I can choose what they do and it takes an action to move them, but I can choose how they behave. And yes, drawing as much attention as possible, trying to look like cursing the riders behind us or something like that. Like that's the appeal here.
Nice.
The cards is now gone from this deck forever.
Just point of order. Did you let any of us know you were doing that?
No.
I'm ahead of it though, right?
Yeah, we're all...
Okay.
Well, I think
back.
like...
It's thrown 30 feet back. Like it's a ways back still.
It's thrown 30 feet back, but that's still going to be quite close, and especially because neither Aware nor Tender are actually moving forward right now. So yeah, you do see that. Well, we can roll when we get to you in terms of how that impacts anyone who wasn't ready for that. Cool. Any bonuses or anything else you'd like to use?
I don't think so.
Cool.
No, I'm good.
Tender, you're underneath and suddenly there's weird cackling and you think you can see like the legs of a night hag maybe, but you're looking at everything upside down and Aware has pulled up next to you. What would you like to do?
I mean, I initially it seems like I would want to get back on top of my horse, but now there's cackling. Maybe it's safer under here. I am going to get back on the horse.
Cool.
Hey.
Is that a dex check or a...
I'm going to say that because the horse is still, that it's fine for you to use your action to kind of swing it, and you've got another horse you can grab onto, and it's going to take your action, but I'm not going to make you check for it.
Cool. In which case I will get back on the horse, look up at the cackling hag, and just... Sweet, merciful melody! Alright. Let's go! And just,
Yep.
Forward, away from the hag, and away from whatever is behind us, and then I guess away from Aware.
Yeah, as a reaction, can I let go of the horse?
Yeah, I was going to say, could you please make
my horse now?
a dexterity save to move your arm out of the reins?
I would make sure that, like, this is not a...
Would Tender make sure? Tender's heard cackling and has just got up from underneath this horse.
Getting up on a horse is a slow and laborious business, so he would probably have seen the hag, like, here. And then the scramble to get back onto the horse and sit on the saddle and kind of, is going to be long enough for him to realise that his reins are caught in someone's arm or whatever, you know what I mean?
Okay. I trust you to
as much
be...
as I like the comedy of just driving off.
I trust you to be honest about how rubbish Tender is, because you have in the past, so...
Yes.
I'm going to trust that here. Okay.
Would it be fair for the hag to speak as a free action?
What does the hag say?
Run, you fools!
Just in like a general direction, or specifically facing...
Oh god, that's even worse. No.
You'll have to tell me twice!
Yeah, I think it's just run, you fools, but it's really unclear who that's towards. Polaris.
So I've got a little guest on my horse.
Yeah, seems to be a human man. But
Facing me.
you can only really see his eyes because everything's wrapped up either with like studded leather armour or with cloth masks.
All right. I would like to. And is he like? Again, it's not his turn, but is he like grappling with me, like suggesting an intention to get off this horse? Because I know there was the stop command. But am I like clasping this thing with my thighs and my hands are like really aggressively holding onto him because I've just got to keep him on here? That's as I recall the situation, but I don't know how the stop command went for him.
Okay, you actually, and it's yeah, I don't think it takes too much. He was very glad to actually just not be being dragged along the ground anymore, and so was quite willing there. And then actually once he's on the horse, it's tricky because of command, but you get the sense that he's not struggling.
Okay.
Or trying to get off this horse.
In that case, I hold my trident up. I did that. I did an attempt to hit him with it earlier last time, but I've now got it, and I'm still gunning it on the horse. But I would like to I'd like to roll intimidation, I think.
Ooh, okay.
Because I'd roll intimidation because I'd like to just snarl at him. Who sent you? Why?
Okay. Do you want to roll intimidation, or do you want to roll like intimidation or persuasion to try and get an answer to that question?
Yeah, that's kind of my
Yeah.
style. Yep. That is a dirty 20, as we say in the biz.
Ah, nice.
Filth.
What you get back is, look, just give me the bracelet and the ring. Nothing more has to happen. That's all we want.
That doesn't answer my question.
That's what they're here for. Like
I said who sent you.
True.
That's right. I wasn't saying that doesn't answer my question to you, Chloe. I was saying that if that's how he's going to answer that question.
Yeah, that's how he's going to answer.
He's going to have 3 lovely holes.
Extra or
Brand new ones.
Cool. Is that your? Because
it's an action to do a check, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not something like that in terms of intimidating and trying to.
Full-on, I spent something.
But you've got, if you have any bonuses you want to use, and you can still just be going forward on the horse.
I'm just still going to be going forward. I will. Yeah, I'll do that. Just.
Cool.
Answer my question.
Cool.
And obviously, I'm not giving him that.
Well, yes. Figured as much. Phoebe.
Yeah, so they're 120 feet behind me.
Yeah, I think it's safe to treat that as the estimate.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna Scorching Ray them.
Okay, so Scorching Ray, can you do that on more than one target?
Yes, 3 rays of fire hurl them at targets within range, can hurl them at one target or several.
Okay.
Are you aiming for the men or the horses? Be honest.
They're not all men, I think.
I think they're all. I don't think they're on. Wait, we've taken that. Wait, I'm confused.
There are two people. You don't know their gender.
Yes.
There are 2 people who are on horses because some of the horses were hypnotized, some of the people were hypnotized, but they've managed to get back on their horses. One horse the one belonging to the person who's with Polaris, has just gone off into the forest without a rider, but there are still 2 people atop horses chasing you down.
I'm just trying to identify a pattern of behaviour.
It's got form here, Phoebes.
It is going to be the horses.
Oh god.
Oh.
It's a better choice.
Okay.
It's the practical choice.
Yeah.
It's not.
Can you
So I got to
make the rolls?
Lower AC.
Yes. Pardon?
They've got a lower armor class because they're horses.
Exactly. So that first one is a 7, so that's and then I add shit.
Your spell casting
Is plus 8.
Yeah, 15.
15.
Okay. That,
I have to roll for each ray.
yep.
So
Roll
so
the next
first
2.
one's at 15. The second one's a 17 plus 8, so I think that'll be fine. And the third one is an 11 plus 8, so that's a 19.
Okay, can you roll me damage on those? I'm just going to assume, is it like the first 2 into one horse and the next into another?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one that's closer,
Yeah.
if they are.
They're kind of neck and neckish, but there's probably one that you can see
120
slightly
feet.
better.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
What's-
The first roll was a 6.
Mm-hmm.
The second roll is a 5. And the third roll is a 6.
Okay. These...
Isn't it 2D? Isn't it 2D? It's more
Oh.
than 1 dice, isn't it?
Yes, shit. It's
It is
2d6.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let's go.
So wait, is it just 2d6 for all
Oh, right.
3
Yeah. All right.
rays? 6, so that's
You roll-
11 points of damage.
You roll them all
No,
individually.
you roll them all individually.
You roll 2d6, and then you roll 2d6 again, and then you roll 2d6.
Yeah.
Sick. Okay, so the first one's 11. The second one is 7. The third one is 4 plus 6, 10.
10. Okay. So,
Danya.
these horses, like, you see this kind of almost holy fire shoot out of you and weave its way through the forest, probably like catching on branches and leaves and stuff as it goes, like clearing a small path of light, and then hits these 2 horses. You hear that it's hit them as well, and because we're now down to the riders' turns and such, like, what you just see is these horses rearing up and completely out of control, and you are getting further and further away from them because they are not able to, they're not following the instructions of the people riding them, and you can also like kind of slightly hear that they get further and further away, not just purely because you're riding away, but because they have bolted in the direction of where that came from. And so those 2 riders are just now on 2 horses that are running uncontrollably in the opposite direction to you both. And it seems like you've isolated it down to the rider who is with Polaris. So, it's like uncomfortably close, like both so close to each
It's going to
other.
have to be like a side strike, like the equivalent of doing this.
He has a weapon on him. Well, he's probably just going to actually, like, a lot of stuff came off with the horse, but just now that command has fallen and he's able to move, takes his dagger out. This is going to be a weird one. Can you make me I think it's going to have to be like a dexterity save because it's moving out the way, because he pulls out this dagger. It looks almost, especially from anyone who's riding alongside, like he's going to stab Polaris. But then it goes a little bit right, and it looks like he's trying to cut Polaris out of his own coat and just cut it off of him whilst he's on the horse with him. So I'm going to make an attack roll, but just on that fabric. But if you could make a dex just to see how well you can avoid this clothing being cut from you.
Absolutely not. Dex save 15.
Okay. That's sufficiently good. So this is going to be at disadvantage because you're quite kind of lithe and limber.
I am made of water.
Indeed you are.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's basically does start making like tears in your jacket. It's kind of just up here and trying to curve round and down to start just ripping it off of your body, but hasn't been able to actually fully tear it off, and just going, no one needs to get hurt. Just
You won't succeed where sharks have failed.
God, bloody pirates! Flipping pirates!
I'm a privateer!
That's just a fancy pirate! And just like, whilst you're just like grappling with each other on this, having fights both over magical items and semantics and linguistics, we then come back to Aware. You're able to start, like, you can start catching up because Tender has now ridden off.
Yeah. How far am I from the pack, as it were?
You are probably around... You're around 100 feet because you're on riding horses, and if riding horses dash, then that's about 120-ish. So you're about 120. But if you just kind of keep dashing, you can keep pace with them.
Yeah, well, I mean, being a rogue, if all I do right now is move, then I can,
Your
at
horse
the end of
isn't
this
a rogue.
turn, be...
Your horse
Sorry?
isn't a rogue. Your horse isn't a rogue.
Yeah, at the moment we're just having to do horses' movements.
Right, fine. How do you know? Maybe they brought me the rogue horse. It's the one in the little domino mask.
I'm sorry,
What?
DM, is Griff's horse a rogue horse?
The horse
Do I
could
roll
be
for it?
No,
Roll for the
unfortunately
horse.
not. That was a 1 on the dice.
Oh.
another changeling.
It's the worst
like a were.
horse.
It's therefore turned into a horse. We don't know that. This could be a big reveal that we're about to
Look,
get. But
the tree has many resources.
Everyone's a changer.
They have branches everywhere.
Rogue horse.
You are on a horse. It is just a horse. What would you like to do with your horse?
I would like to draw as close to the rest of the pack as I can. I don't think that the hag has, like, I don't think it even registers. It's just like, oh, more shit I have to deal with. Bye! And, yeah.
Yeah,
reaction.
the hag is still presumably there, even after these people have run away, still just like cackling and gesticulating in the middle of a forest.
I have an image of, like, those ones that
enormous
sit in shop windows, and just, like, anytime you walk by them, they do the same thing.
Yeah, it's that. It's basically that now. It's just that, and I'm not going to turn it off. It's going to do that forever.
A big mouth Billy Bass hag.
So, now that everyone's in slightly more of a kind of straight thing, I didn't make you roll chase complications before because some of you were stopped and such like, and there were various bits happening, but I'm going to make you roll for them now. So, Griff, if you could roll the d20 for me.
No mod?
No mod, just flat 220. 8. Sorry. Oh, could you please make a dexterity saving throw? And I'm going to tell you the mod because it's going to have to be the horse. So that's a flat roll.
So just roll again.
Yep, roll again for me. 6. Unfortunately, it's not horrendous.
Why didn't I get the rogue horse?
Your horse already took some damage from some razor wire, right?
Yeah, it did. But I think like 2 points though. Like it wasn't a lot.
Yeah, that's alright. So it took 2 points from razor damage, and it then takes another 4 points as basically as it's heading forward and galloping along, one foot just goes down and like hits a set of badgers, and these badgers just kind of scurry up and are swarming around your horse and trying to bite and lash out, but it's not very good at the dexterity saving throw.
I'm literally being beset by...
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
You're being badgered, that's for sure.
Great.
You managed to just about get through, but your horse has been a little bit injured, and at the moment it can still keep going. It might start to be a bit more difficult to control if Aware keeps accidentally steering it into razor vine and badger sets. But over to Ratha.
Right, I've been keeping pace with Polaris the entire time, so I'm going to look over, sort of nearby, looking at Polaris. You done talking? Still dwarf form.
Oh, right. Oi!
And it's clear my trident is in
thingy.
Fine. Then I Eldritch Blast the figure in front of Polaris twice.
Do it.
Okay.
The lowest roll there is a 21, so I'm just going to assume they both hit. That is 18 points of damage. As two, again, pink-hued, everything's pink. Two pink-hued Eldritch Blasters out of my hands into the fingerprint and just buff. I don't have any special abilities to make Eldritch Blast or anything clever, it just hits. They just hit and do damage.
Okay.
And I keep riding 60 feet ahead and we'll roll a d20 if you like me play, that's totally fine.
Yes, please. The figure is now slightly clinging onto you, but that's more just because that threw them so much, the force of those Eldritch Blasts.
That's a 12.
That's a 12, I believe. You are fine. You are acing this horse riding.
No, I'm not. Rathar can't ride. This is hilariously bad riding. But, you know...
You're still managing to avoid, like, all the actual... Even if it's just kind of some weird subconscious skill.
You've got the rogue horse.
Doing comparatively well.
Oh, it's the rogue horse. I've got the rogue horse. I'm very proud of the rogue horse. That's good.
David, it's Tender's go.
I'm just going to keep running forward, keeping an eye on where next to me, I assume, or maybe...
yeah, similar rough, like, yeah.
And we're far away, right? I'm just thinking the actions that I can take.
In terms of far away from Polaris. Yeah, you're about say 90 feet.
In which case, I am going to do is it a perception check to see if the hag is real? I just want to figure out whether it was...
Yeah, roll investigation.
I want to know whether it was Phoebe or the hag that burnt those horses, and whether or not we need to have a conversation.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
The hag is shouting some hagging, but it's not like bang bang. Oh, it's more of the ooh. It's more of the.
Yeah, but I mean, the hag appeared, and then some horses were on fire. Now I think I know what happened, but I don't know whether Tender is going to figure it out. It's an investigation, you say?
Yes.
That would be a... Tension, as I load up the right page. That would be a 19.
The hag's an illusion.
19.
Yeah. It looks translucent to you now, because you can kind of see that it's...
In which case, Tender looks up behind him at the hag, like running the horse, just like... and keeps going, and then thinks about the burning horses and just goes, Phoebe. Kind of puts the horses on.
Okay. Polaris, you've still got this person who is now just trying to cut your coat off you.
Shove, Tom.
It's up to Polaris, whatever he wants to do with this person.
I've been telegraphing this trident blow for ages.
Something different he'll know.
Yeah.
Just slap him.
I would like... I have been telegraphing it for ages. I would like to propose something that I will accept the DM's ruling on.
Okay.
You know how I can use a bonus action to make my trident appear in my hand?
Yes.
Can I be so ready at hitting that I actually do switch it to that hand and then get advantage on hitting him because he's been so ready to receive it from that side? I fully accept that is not a mechanical thing, but...
Yeah, I think it's going to look super cool.
Yeah.
But in terms of how close you are and stuff like that, and him moving and things, I think it's just going to be a straight one. But it looks super cool.
I've got some cool stats. Let's see. Okay, the first one is a 14, quite low on the dice.
Okay, unfortunately, 14 doesn't quite manage it.
Second, however, is a 22.
That definitely will.
Hooray! Yep. So that is 8 magical piercing damage. Almost in 3 holes.
3 extra holes.
Yes.
Yeah.
3 extra holes.
It doesn't sound as cool as you think it does.
I get really nuggety about whether I'm a privateer or a pirate. I don't think you misunderstand. Pirates don't have to be cool.
This is what happens when you call Polaris a pirate.
Yep.
You get trident stabbed.
You get 3 holes. All 3.
Any bonuses you want to use?
Well, technically, my bonus was the thing.
Oh, was the thing. Was the flair of it all.
Looked real cool. But
Cool.
yeah, fine. So I've just done a solid whack on this fella.
Nice. Yeah, and it's like that has clearly... You can't... he's trying not to say anything else.
He does say to me, just give me the things, and nothing. What was it? What was the phrasing he used?
Give us the ring and the bracelet, and nothing else has to happen. That's all we want.
Okay, I go, get the fuck off my horse! Nothing else has to happen!
Screw you, pirate! Pirate! And just keep saying that to try and rile you up in the hope that this will help him win this fight.
Right, sure. Many have tried.
Hannah, it's Phoebe's go.
I'm just gonna ride to catch up with everyone, I think, because I don't know what else there is to do. How far would I be from Polaris and this idiot?
I don't think you're that far from Polaris and the other individual on there, because you kept quite pace. It was only Tender's horse that stopped, and Aware went back. So I'm totally fine for you to still only be about 30 feet away. Obviously, you're still all kind of like moving, but mechanically treating it like that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna... Okay. I am going to cast command again.
Okay. What is the command word?
He needs to make a wisdom save.
Okay.
And my command is...
That's a 4 on the dice, so I'm not even going to look at the modifier.
Mate. Nah. And the command is, again, stop.
Stop. Try the time.
Well, I want to know who's trying to steal from us.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair enough. So it's...
Yeah.
As command takes effect.
And then I'm going to say to Polaris, he might have information. Oh, I don't know what accent that was, but it was something.
I've already asked
He
him.
might have been. And did he tell you anything?
Just said he wants the stuff, the jewellery things.
Well, we probably could get more information, couldn't we?
We're engaged in conversation!
It would be his go, but he can't do anything. However, apologies for forgetting about rolling some dice. Hannah, David, Tom, could you each please roll me a d20?
Aye.
Sorry. Phoebe, and then whatever.
Yeah. Starting with David.
Nat 20.
You are laser focused on Phoebe, and nothing is getting in your way. You are managing to dip, duck, and dive between all of the branches, undergrowth, little hillocks, everything in this forest. Tom.
Hi there. I have rolled a 14.
Similarly, you're actually doing remarkably well, considering that a lot of your field of vision is taken up with this person directly in front of you, but you're managing to control your steed at the same time. Hannah.
8.
8. Oh, can you please roll me just like a flat d20?
We don't need to do anything, it's perfectly fine.
14.
14. You end up spooking basically the badgers that were spooked by a Ware's horse.
Badgers. How fast are these badgers? How
I'm
many
clinging
badgers are
on to
there?
my horse.
One thing is, like, you spook some badgers, then suddenly all the badgers in the forest are spooked. That's just badgers, you know, I'm sure. And there are some badgers that swarm around you.
Forest.
But you manage to avoid them. And your horse is not harmed in the process. You're much more nimble in terms of navigating badgers. So
There'll be mushrooms and snakes.
you've only got this individual on the horse, and he's lost his turn because he's been commanded to stop. So it's back to Aware, kind of like keeping pace and such like with the individuals in front.
So have I drawn level with them now?
If everyone's still dashing, you won't be able to draw level, but you
I'm
can
always
keep
dashing.
pace.
So within what's my range?
I think we said about 120, 90. Just because it's always
Still, even though I dashed last turn.
because they're dashing on their horses, so everyone's still going at the same speed.
Oh, well, then there's literally nothing I can do at that range. Apart
You could,
from
like-
try to be more careful about the badgers. Like,
Speaking's a free action. If there's anything you want to shout out,
You can shoot your bow.
my bow's only 80 feet. I wouldn't get anywhere near.
It's 83-20. You can shoot at disadvantage.
it's up to you. I'll say that if you try to shoot at disadvantage towards the individual who's on the same horse as Polaris, on the other side of Polaris on the same horse,
I don't
Do it
think
anyway.
that I just like as a player, sure, let's go for it. But like as an individual, I just don't think Aware would be like I'll shoot him, whatever. Like there are so many other people
Where
dealing
is a
with that.
pro?
yeah, Aware knows how stuff works. Cool. That makes a lot of sense. Nothing you want to shout out or say, just double checking.
But how could I put words to the situation at this point?
Fair.
No, we're good.
Wrath.
Shoot him again.
Okay, make another attack roll.
Those are both 16s.
They both miss. Just wide. It's probably you're also having to accommodate for the fact that Polaris is on there,
Yeah.
and so where you would normally shoot is a little bit trickier. So yeah, unfortunately, those just slightly miss and kind of almost like scuff. Probably one of them going directly between Polaris and this individual's face as you're racing through.
Right.
Griff.
Still riding 60 feet. Oh yeah.
Griff, roll me d20, and then Chris roll me d20. I'm going to write d20 really big on my paper here, so I remember to do it for
Maybe I
each.
should find the slopes that are hanging out of the trees.
Mushroom.
What was that, Griff?
12.
You've learnt from your previous interaction with the badgers, and you're more able now to kind of keep an eye on potential threats or hazards, and you don't hit anything.
15.
Same for Wrath. You're all good. Tender, David.
Just carrying on riding, trying to catch up with them. I know I can't because everyone's dashing, but
Yeah.
I'm just going to try and dodge as many badgers as I can on the way as the tidal wave of badgers pours out of the forest.
Okay.
Robin
Roll me a d20.
over Lennox. DOS games chat through that.
That is a 7.
A 7. Can you make me a flat roll?
Sorry, I don't
That
care
was
what
just
it
a
says on
flat
that
D20,
table.
right?
I don't care what it says on that table you're using. It's badgers.
No. Don't worry. I've got something. What was that, David?
Dose.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh no. Your horse rides and runs straight into a badger trap that someone set for all these damn badgers in this forest.
At least someone is working on solving the problem.
Is
Ironic.
a badger trap like a bear trap but smaller, or is it like a cage?
Well, I'm just gonna go with
Is this a humane badger trap?
I'm gonna go with what I've got mechanically, which is being ensnared in a net. However, what I'm gonna say happens is because this is a whole horse with a person on top, like a net is not just gonna go around the both of you. But I'm gonna say that your horse's speed is slowed, so that if you dash, you will only go 60 feet, because there is now a torn-up net that your horse just flailed its way through around you and the horse.
The net was only designed to hold badgers, or
Yeah.
else would get through it with fairly ease, but now I have net all over me.
Yes. Tender's doing about as well as Tender typically does in combat scenarios.
Plus the badgers are now free to roam wherever.
We destroyed our last line of defense.
Okay, Polaris. Frozen in front of you.
He's still very much going. I would like to spin my trident around in my hands So I'm holding both hands and the blunt end towards him, and I'd like to say, "You've got the 3 holes. Now it's time for me to knock you unconscious." He has a habit where he does say things like they're wordplay, but they're just a statement.
I mean, it was.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a thing about
there, Tom.
something about bowling balls, but okay.
Join the club.
There we go.
He's not normally this frazzled. People don't normally survive up close with him.
Say hello to my trident. Just saying things.
I am going to take it now.
Trident again.
If at first you don't succeed, die.
I'm going to say that you can do this with advantage because he's unable to move.
Oh yeah, he done.
So he's not like officially like restrained or anything, but because he's stopped, like, so feel free to roll with advantage.
Thank you. That is, well, the first of those is better, so we will go with that. That's 22.
That will definitely hit.
Great, so that is a D8. I guess for flavour it's magical bludgeoning because I'm whacking him rather than piercing, but I'm doing non-lethal damage with my thing.
Yeah.
So it's at least 10 or so non-lethal magical bludgeoning damage. I will roll another attack. Yes, that is it's 12. 12 non-lethal magical bludgeoning. 12.
He's looking incredibly rough and like there's kind of a gasp even though he can't move. But he's not down yet.
Good, I go again.
Okay, go again.
It's almost like a baseball bat swing, and then back again.
This is so like ridiculously comic.
Ooh, probably don't hit though, because the second one was only a 15.
Yep, doesn't hit.
Did avoid a critical fail thanks to the advantage, but I don't hit. In which case, that's it. I just go.
Okay. It is now his turn. Sorry, just checking a couple of things. Oh, nice. Obviously, do not matter, but because I don't have it up here, Tom, what's Polaris's passive?
It's not spectacular. It's more fighty, lightningy than wise. What are we looking at here? Passive wisdom, presumably.
Passive perception.
Passive wisdom perception is 14.
Okay. You're still scuffling, and he gives up on trying to tear your coat off you in order to get the things that are in the pockets, and he just go, screw this, I'm not wasting my time on a pirate, and just swings himself and kind of has like half grappled onto you to get himself off of the horse, but then just falls off. He's gonna have to do a dex save to see if he doesn't hurt himself terribly on the way down. Dex save, that's a 17. And just like starts rolling and rolling and rolling.
Opportunity attack in some way?
Yep, opportunity attacks, he's moving out of your range.
Can I grapple him as an opportunity attack?
Yeah, it's an attack action, like it's a form of attack, so that's contested.
That's definitely what I want to do.
Okay, so he's going to go for
you don't.
acrobatics in response rather than athletics.
I'm athleticizing.
I've got an 18.
Come on.
I've got a 21.
Yeah.
Shite! Okay, you might like...
Is it like a firm grab of his arm? Like, oh no, you don't!
Yeah, I think you've kind of like, there's been like a swing, so the weight on the horse and stuff is still a bit swung over, but he hasn't been able to actually go off. You've still got a hold of him. Does he have any like bonuses that he can use? No. So that's it for him. And can you roll me a d20? 10. What it says on the table is a creature indigenous to the area chases after you. The DM chooses an appropriate creature for the terrain. nothing else actually happens. But for some reason, you're the one that a couple of badgers decide to start running after.
I'm the leader, clearly, of these people who've been messing with their set.
Yeah, so now there's just some badgers following you. Sorry.
Does anyone have any mushrooms?
No, it's a snake. Oh my god, it's a snake.
Griff, it's back to you.
This is all just pretty overwhelming at this point. I think Aware would notice that Tender's horse has been mildly inconvenienced.
Yeah, going a little bit slower now.
Yeah, and I think Shadowcross, tell me you've got this, because we don't got anything else right now.
I've got it. Just try to get the net off the horse as much as possible. Don't worry, you go on ahead. Just stop him from killing that person.
And I think just it's going to spur the horse forward, but under the breath go, I don't think I care whether he does.
You're far enough away from each other that, like, I'm not going to ask for passives. No one hears that. Cool. And are you just heading on through?
Yeah, just go.
I'm now, like, so scared of asking for these rolls, but
no,
D20, please.
The badgers have gone to speak to the manager anyway, so they can't hurt me anymore.
Just roll on my badger table, because that's what it is now.
Oh no, that's a face.
What did you roll?
Oh
Yeah. I don't
A giant badger!
I turn into a badger.
Karma's a real bitch, huh?
You got this? Oh god!
What a loser!
Can you please make me a flat 20 roll?
Oh, for the love of Pete. Okay, 18.
18. Okay, I am technically using the chase complications thing, but I'm just going to start flavouring certain things differently because that's how it's going. So instead of a rough patch of brush that you need to kind of jump after it over and such, like there's now so many badgers, and you leap over them beautifully.
This wonderful vaulting badger thing going.
And there's no, like, nothing slows you down. You're still kind of doing this absolutely fine. Wrath.
I know, rules as writ, I can't make Eldritch Blast do non-lethal damage. I would like to. Will you let me, or would you not?
Basically, if you happen to roll something like a natural 20, and then roll enough damage, which I'm guessing Eldritch Blast potentially could here, that's going to be lethal. If you don't roll a nat 20, then I will allow it to be non-lethal.
Cool, thank you. In which case, 2 more Eldritch Blasts. Yeah, that is a 24 and a 23.
Okay, roll me damage. Like, it's most likely this is going to knock him out.
Okay. 5.
Hanging on by a thread.
Oh god!
This guy eats Eldritch Blasts for breakfast.
Yeah, that's and the horse keeps going, so I guess D20 roll.
Where's a broadside when you need one?
Oh shit, that's a 5.
5.
What flavour of badger do I have to deal with?
Can you roll me a con save, please?
Yeah, I'm great at them. 6.
Your horse is still going through, but you end up going through, like, all these overgrown trees, overgrown bushes, and taking, like, the worst possible route through this. Maybe it's because you're trying to avoid badgers, but by doing that,
I'm trying to avoid killing the guy. I'm put it out there.
Loads of things hit you in the face, and for this round, you are blinded. You are considered blinded.
Am I blinded until... When am I blinded until? The end of my next turn?
The end of your next turn.
Cool, alright.
Is how I'm going to roll that. So, we are on to David.
I'm assuming that I've got the net off at this point, so there's my horse.
You'd have to use your action for that, because otherwise you're just saying that you're doing something between turns.
This is true. I was just wondering whether or not the effect stays.
The effect is going to stay, yeah, unless you get rid of the net.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I have to. So,
You stay in the net for the rest of the campaign. Out of pettiness.
He decides he doesn't want to do it. Yes, I am going to try and get rid of the net. Is that a thing that I have to roll for, or can I just...
If you have any magic that would do it, you can use that magic, or you can physically try to. What I'll say is also with these D20 rolls, if you wanted to, I would let you bardically inspire your horse to help them out in future.
I may actually do that. I don't really know. I could do... Do you know what? Yeah, I will. Can I use thaumaturgy to just burn it off?
Well,
because that's like a cantrip, and I'm just gonna have that as like it's not attacking, it's just yeah,
just a kind of a slight burning of just to loosen the bits that I know are entangled, and just a singe.
I know we've had horses already burnt by fire before, but that was like specific magical fire attacks.
So a little bit of thaumaturgy. Just don't worry, I'm not Phoebe. And I just look around. I've seen badgers before, but never in this many numbers. We got to get out of here. And just and I am going to, as a bonus action, I am going to inspire my horse by.
How?
I am going to sing an old song that he used to that he sings to horses in it's in a weird elvish dialect that he'd learned in a previous, like I said, he's a retired adventurer. He's learned it in a previous campaign when he was riding horses somewhere, just kind of something very elvish, kind of yes Christ Norris and and then come on.
That's beautiful.
Love that. That's great. Cool. Your horse is currently inspired. Roll me a d20.
If you play all that backwards, it's really weird stuff.
I'm into badgers.
That was a 13.
13. You are finally getting hold of how to ride a horse and navigate the many issues of this forest.
Great.
Cool. We're on to Polaris. Genuinely looks like he's hanging on by a thread, and he's now able to actually move as well. And
he's hanging on. So when last we met, he was he'd tried to swing off me, swing off the horse and go around me, and I've grabbed him. So he's dangling out a little to the side while I try and pull him back on. I would like to use the horse's movement to dash about 1.5 feet to the right of a tree to our left.
I see what you're doing.
And I'd like to be moving at such a speed that basically as we begin closing the ground, I would like to say, let's see, we call this reefing. Who are you working for? Or I'll don't change course. So I am doing the land version of dragging someone along a coral reef. I haven't done it yet because he's got 6 seconds to, maybe 3 now, to tell me something, or I won't change course.
Okay, that's such a cool image. Okay, so you're doing that, and he can see what's coming up, and he just... Celeste! Happy pirate!
What did you say?
Happy pirate. He asks happy pirate as in are you happy now pirate, but it comes out as happy pirate.
I will jerk to the side, as it were, and so I've just been using the horse's movement, right? I haven't therefore used an action.
True. Yeah, and you've just described what's going to happen rather than you didn't make any rolls. It was just a cool move.
If possible, then I would like to rear to the side, narrowly go past the horse and say, "Oi, I'm happy," and then hit him again.
Is this lethal or non-lethal?
Non-lethal.
Okay.
First hit. There's no advantage on this one. That won't hit. That's a 14. And second attack. Yes. It's all 25.
Yes, that will hit.
Yes, good. And that is 11 non-lethal?
Knocked out. There's now a dead weight hanging that you're having to kind of still keep holding of.
So
You're pretty
it
strong,
goes-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Polaris can, like, thankfully this
I
hasn't
sling
happened to
it
someone
onto the
weaker.
And I do go, oi, happy! Still not a play. And then lay his body on the horse. Well, his sleeping form.
And you are now out of initiative order.
Oh, thank Christ for that.
So you can kind of still ride your horses together. I'm not going to make you roll for fresh chase complications. There's still, like, some badgers that are kind of, like, following after Polaris for who knows what
Roll
reason.
for it, 'cause I'm blind for a round.
True.
No, there's nothing. It's 14. I'm not
But you can now you're now a little way out of Abra. You're not too far from where you're trying to get to. Are you just riding with the knocked out individual on you?
I will stop, or come slow to a canter, curve around a bit and look around and make sure everyone's like with me. You know, I have not been looking behind me at all because I've had a guy directly in front of me. So I'm not sure I'm still with everyone.
Cool.
Yeah, I shift back into Wrath, so just back into myself. And what did they want?
The jewellery. Said Celeste sent it. I assume that applies to the rest of them.
So,
He's unconscious though, so we can have a little chat.
So she knows we're coming.
It would appear so.
Oh, good.
Aware as Darla is gonna draw level. So is everybody alright?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, never
fine.
better.
No problems
How
here.
ropey does my horse look at this point?
Your horse looks like it doesn't look great. It's been a little bit beaten up by that whole chase.
Do you want me to heal your horse?
As Tendo kind of look, don't let her anywhere near your horse.
Why are you smoking lately?
Well, me.
Yeah.
Well, you did
There's still
the
like some singed
the
bits of
flame
meat
on
in your
the-
hair.
Just tosses the net to one side. Nothing, just a couple of complications with the badgers. We should have not gone through Badger Forest, by the way.
Was there a sign? I didn't see a sign that said Badger Forest anywhere.
I'm making one right now.
Badger's really this kind of threat. I wasn't. I mean, I see them equivalent to
I mean,
salmon.
it's a problem. I can assure you it's a problem.
Right.
Um,
So everyone's hale and hearty. Aware?
Nothing hit me. No, it's just a horse. I don't know if we'd be able to get this thing anywhere further than we are now.
All right.
that horse. The horse is good enough to actually like kind of go, but if you push it in another chase, it might struggle.
Yeah. My healing word the horse.
I will totally like. That's a really lovely thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roll for
Balance your scales.
how much you heal.
Okay, so 1d4 plus my spellcasting ability modifier. So, okay, so that's a 6. 6 points of healing.
Cool.
My horse is all fixed.
Nice.
I'd like to suggest then that we keep moving. At least find somewhere outside this Badger Forest where it's safe for us to settle. Or maybe we're a little closer than we think. But let's
We're not
keep moving
going-
for now.
Are we going all the way where we were going, or are we going to stop?
Well, let's see how far away it is.
If we're being chased by agents of the person who we're going towards, I think the sooner we get there, the fewer people we have to deal with.
Aye. And nobody's been particularly beaten up, right?
No?
Which way's there? Where are we going?
You were still kind of going in the right direction when you were ambushed because
Is
you were
there
just
a
told like
path
2
in this
hours
forest?
north.
A path
Is there
through
a
Badger
path?
Forest?
Are we still going along a path or a road even? Was it just...
Things tailed off to cease to be much of a road. You know that
Okay.
you're going to an area that's quite kind of remote and such like, and so occasionally there's like bits and pieces, but as you kind of continue along you start to see a bit more of a path forming, which you can follow north if you want to.
Well, are we going directly to Celeste or are we going to Marron Elestnal's first? I
Aren't they in
can't
the same
remember.
place?
The scrying seem to suggest they were in like the same-ish location. It's hard for you to specifically aim for one or the other with the information you've got.
Aye.
Okay.
Either they're in cahoots, which is bad, or Marron is Celeste's prisoner, which is also bad, or Celeste is Marron's prisoner somehow, which I don't know what that would
be
mean.
a bit of a
Be a party.
Cooks, I suppose. Yeah.
Aye. Maybe our
Maybe
jobs are
they're
already done for
neighbours.
us. Or they're just neighbours. Aye.
So, are you
Off we go.
riding along the forest? Okay.
Wait, are we bringing this guy?
Aye, let him have a little sleep. I stroke his hair.
Can you all please make me perception checks as you ride along in the forest?
10.
Sorry, what was that, Tom?
22.
22.
A 19.
19.
18.
Cool. So, Hannah, David, and Tom, your characters, as you're going along, start to see the trees thinning a little bit up ahead, and they're thinning, and then past them there is a quite like grandish house. Looks almost like it has the state of a kind of manor. But as you get closer, you realise that half of it isn't the trees thinning around it or it's hidden behind the trees, it's in the trees. Like, trees have actually overgrown it somewhat. And this otherwise pure white, large kind of broad house with pillars at the front and at least like 2 or 3 floors is, apart from the front of it, is surrounded by trees on all sides, which seem to have, at points, kind of grown over and inside. And there's a slight kind of clearing around the area, but it's almost kind of within the forest with not much to actually reveal it. There is a small and looks to be quite old stables to the right-hand side. No horses inside there, but it looks to be part of what was once maybe a larger estate. But you get closer to that, and obviously Aware and Wrath will see that, but not quite as soon as the others. You're about, say, 120, 90 feet away, depending on how you want to approach.
I'm going to turn to Polaris and just kind of say, how are we doing this? Do you want to go in quiet? You want to just knock on the front door?
Should I pretend to be someone that either Celeste or Marron might be expecting?
Aye. I think we do a little bit of both. We've already established I'm not much one for going in quietly, but I can bring the cavalry over the hill, if you know
Would
what I
it be worth my sort of approaching top down?
Aye, because you can fly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aye, I mean, not making use of that seems like a complete waste of everybody's time, aye. Alright, I'll...
And I've got fairy fire as well, so if that's useful, I can try and go above and then cast it down, and then you can see if there are
cast it on
more
a
things.
20-foot cube, like it's a very specific.
Yeah, I think it's a 20-foot cube, but that's 20-foot cube more of information.
Yeah,
than
you can
get
still like
otherwise.
cast it so you're kind of covering what entrance people might be going in or something.
I think there's something we need to consider here. Celeste apparently already knows that we at the very least had these items and sent people to the very road that we took to get in. So, probable that she knows we're coming.
So subterfuge might not work this time.
Aye, it might be just exposing ourselves. What I'm going to suggest, therefore, is we try to get that door open via some subterfuge, but we don't split up. We work as a team. Some of us hide very close by to you, Wrath, in whatever form you take, and do the old classic, hello there, I'm from the King of Bloody Blah, open this door at once. And then as soon as it's open, well, maybe we take things a little bit more old-fashioned.
Oh, so sort of a guard, an elaborate guard look.
Do I need to...
Whatever would get
the
that door
handcuffs
open.
again?
Oh,
Is it
sorry, Tom and then David, just because I couldn't hear both people.
Whatever would get the door open. If she's expecting a guard, maybe.
Do I need to put the handcuffs again? Am I prisoner again? Is this... Because that sort of worked last time.
But again, I think that'll just draw attention to... I mean, she likely knows exactly who we are.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather not be a dog.
Okay, I'm going to offer a suggestion. Why don't we... She's expecting us. Let's just go as us and knock on the door and see what happens. And if it is all-out assault on us, well, we can defend ourselves. But the more we try and fake our way in, they know we're coming. And the more we can be open and honest about who we are and what we want, the more we can deal with it directly.
They're trying to kill us and take over the world. I don't... Like, I get
We're
it's
trying
good.
to
Rath's got a point. Let's go in. Let's start as we mean to go on. Just go in.
kick the door.
Cards on the
I'm
table.
fed up with not flying under our own colours,
Fair enough.
Got some
You're the
spells.
boss.
I've got some spells I can do that might be more of the kick the door in variety. I'm very happy to help. And changing myself into various different things hasn't worked. Maybe it's time to just do this as ourselves.
Let's
Look,
face it.
Phoebe looks at Aware and just sort of big shrug action. Like,
Look, we've kind of lost the element of surprise here. She sent somebody after us. There's nothing we can do if they know we're coming. Kind of silly to put on a mask first, huh?
I think we make sure the door isn't an obvious trap. Either magical or just somewhere where it can easily be shot at from all sides by crossbows and the like. But then, if we
Well,
need
if
to,
we
we
want-
really knock it down.
If you're happy to hold for... How long will the walk take us to get there, Clay?
Oh, you're only like over 100 feet away.
Okay.
You're not that
If I'm
far.
happy to have a 10-minute breather, I will be able to see any magical effects for, a while.
a 10-minute breather would be lovely.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm all out of bardic inspiration, so could use.
Whatever
10
account
minutes
we
is
do
a
for
short
10
rest
minutes.
If we want to take
I'll,
a short rest, we can short rest for an hour, and then I can still cast Detect Magic as a ritual, so I've got that up so we can see what's going on.
Feels like an hour just kind of standing here might be a little risky.
10 minutes.
That's
to
a
do
fair
Detect Magic,
point.
Otherwise I can't cast it.
We could keep talking for 10 minutes if you keep, if you want to cast, we can
Do
just...
what you need to do for 10 minutes. I think we've got something we can use to fill our time. And then I'd like there to be a smash cut to the guards, the crossbow guy's POV, looking up at Polaris going, "Hello, what am I?"
Pirate.
You're gonna kick him in the nods.
I'm gonna kick him in the nards.
Oh, can we not torture the guy, please?
You're late.
If that is a genuine request in terms of like not having
No,
torture
just,
elements in the game,
Yeah, let's
Then-
be careful about
Let's be careful.
how we're defining torture.
yeah, I'm happy
I'm
to.
going to hit the guy who because I'm not actually hitting him to make me take anything. I'm hitting him because he did the thing that
you
knows angers
yeah.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fine that we just kind of like think of it as like there is a slap or something to the nards if
Yeah.
he calls you a pirate.
In the nards.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
A slap or something to the nards.
Yes.
But okay.
No.
Cool. I'm casting Detect Magic as a ritual, so I've got 10 minutes.
Cool. Is anyone else alongside Polaris?
Yeah,
With this
I would have
individual?
invited everyone to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think in character, Darla would have taken up the spot like directly behind the shoulder, like
Sure.
guard, essentially. Short sword.
Tender is currently looking after the horses and eyeing up the stable, just thinking like that would be a good place for the horses to go.
Yeah. You'd think, right?
Yeah, but it's we're not at the house yet, are we?
I'm assuming you're staying like just under the cover of the trees and such like, rather than because about say 60 feet in front of the house, things thin out, and so if you were there, you would be very much visible to anyone inside.
Yeah, Tender is looking after the horses and eyeing Phoebe.
Phoebe is eyeing Tender right back, like, I fixed it.
You didn't. There will be an aside, but we'll carry on with this.
We'll deal with that later.
Okay. Tom.
Right, it goes down on his haunches. I'm sure you're a smart fella. You can make out your odds in this situation, and you can glean that we're not the types to just indiscriminately kill people because, well, you're already here. And you seem to have thrown in your lot with people who do that anyway, so... Celeste, you say?
Yep.
She just want her jewellery back.
Well, obviously, whoever has that can find out where she is.
Aye. Would you say we've done a good job of that?
Guess so.
And if we were to go and knock on the door, we're not expecting the element of surprise if she knew we were coming. But if, say, we were to do that, are there any particular doors we'd be better off knocking on?
I don't know, I can't help you with that one.
I'd like to roll insight.
Sure. Roll insight.
17.
17. I can't help you with that one is truthful, but you get a sense that there's something suspicious about it. You get a vague sense of suspiciousness.
Can't help us because you don't know anything, or can't help us because consequences if you do know something.
I don't know where she is in there. I don't know which doors to use.
But in terms of our safety,
I don't know how to keep you safe.
that's fair enough. You don't know much about killing us either, obviously, so...
Just a point of order, kind of tender. Were you sent to kill us or just get back your jewellery?
I said to your friend, as long as we had the bracelet and the ring, nothing else had to happen.
Celeste may not actually want us dead, she just doesn't want to be found.
Aye. The cat's out of the bag on that now.
Even more reason to go in talking.
Well, for once, I do very much agree with Rath's approach on this one.
Aye, well, I think it's the best of all worlds.
How did you talk to Celeste? How did Celeste communicate with you if you didn't go in?
Good question, Phoebe.
Thank you.
Magic.
Good answer.
Not the most talkative individual.
Oh, clearly.
Tender is gonna... Do you have family?
Yeah.
Now, what's best for you in this situation? Do you want to be let go? Do you want us to keep hold of you for a bit? What do you need?
Well, okay, if you're asking, I want you to let me go.
Right, but you're going to go back through Badger Forest without a horse. We can't give you one.
Fine, I'll make my way.
Are we so sure he's going back?
You can watch me walk away.
Can you communicate with Celeste magically, or can Celeste communicate with you magically?
Her communicate with me magically. Have you finished? Is this you finishing your...
I'm just talking while doing it. Like it's a
Okay.
concentration.
Are you like a subcontractor, or are you like
A what?
What do you usually do? How old is this guy?
Looks about 40. And human, so 40 in human years.
So
What do you usually do?
Yeah, sorry, was that what do you usually do?
Yeah, what do you usually do? You a bandit? You a contractor? You know, what's your day job?
It's not really it's not I smuggle things through Aonte. Aonte is the name of a beach that is famously a point for smuggling.
We may have come across each other before then.
Maybe.
Well, I can now see magical things, so if we want to let him go, we should, and just make our way into the house.
I don't want him turning round and trying to... Can you... If we let you go, will you just go back to smuggling things and leave Celeste and all the rest alone, or have you thrown your lot in with her?
Okay, if you let me go, I will leave Celeste alone.
How do you feel about hinges?
What? Hinges? Like doors?
Cheers.
Just trying to figure out whether or not you're a
What, a hinge person?
enemy, or just we can let you go, slap me on the bum, and off you'll pop back to
Just to
Smuggletown.
flag, this spell lasts for 10 minutes, and we've currently wasted 30 on it, continuing to talk to this person.
All right, let's.
So you're gonna let me go?
I would like to, I would like to retrieve Yeah, okay. I'd like to go on my haunches again and say, what was the rate?
What, for this particular job, or just like in general? Rate for this... Well, this particular job... 50 gold.
Alright. I'd like to reach into my pack and retrieve 100 gold. And say... And like just start counting it out casually. And say... This is, when you consider some of your colleagues, rather a good deal, if you're to accept it.
Well, I mean, what's the deal? What's the exact deal here?
I won't even say you work for us, but you don't work for her anymore. You walk back through the forest, go back to Aeonte. Maybe I'll run into you. Maybe my ship will run into you.
Roll persuasion.
Ooh. Seven.
With advantage, surely.
I mean, can I get in on this? Being a very bardy, persuady lad.
You can give
100 gold.
if you do something. You can give advantage to that roll.
I'm gonna see that Polaris maybe isn't handling this.
What I'm using, I'm basically being blunt. I think that's reflected in the role. But the argument I'm trying to use is this person like me. If so, there's a darker element here where if Celeste turned around and offered me 10,000 gold, I probably wouldn't. But maybe this is a more straightforward situation where if this person is cut from similar cloth to me, and I'd like to be able to kind of gauge that, but that's probably a separate insight thing. But
I'm gonna go down on my haunches next to Polaris and just be like, listen, you say you've got family. I understand why people do things for money, and you don't always ask why. And all you were doing was retrieving a couple of bangles. I get it, you didn't want to hurt anyone. And frankly, I feel bad about what happened to the horses. So if we can come to an accord here where you go on your way, you've been paid double what you were gonna get, and maybe if she contacts you again, you either lead her some misinformation or frankly you tell her exactly what happened.
Tom, roll another d20, so with advantage, assisted by Tender.
So nearly a nat 20.
Oh no!
That is an 8.
Bloody Christ.
I mean, that's so unpersuasive.
He could still want to take the deal.
He could still want
That
to.
it's a good deal. He doesn't necessarily need to be sold it very well.
He could still want to.
I mean, does that not count as? Can that be my? It's not my individual persuasion roll, is it?
You gave them a
No, it was about kind of whether you could give advantage. Is he really that? Yeah, maybe he's that much of a rubbish person. Just at that offer and that suggestion. I think I'm all right. I think I'm good making my own deals, to be honest. I'd want to go into deals with people who are a bit smarter, and you've not really impressed me.
Alright. I'd like to reach out rather aggressively and grab his leg. And rather than do anything to it, I would like to grab his... But I'd like that to be the hint of threat for a second.
Okay.
And then kind of then make eye contact with him, take his shoe off, and say, we'll keep this bracelet. You know what we can do with them. Put that and the gold back in my pack, and then point back into the forest and go, deal's still there if you want it, just without the 100 gold.
Yeah. Sorry, you've proved me wrong, and I've seen the error of my ways. So, yeah, I'm suitably sorry about all that. And keep my shoe. That seems a fair thing to do.
He's gonna betray us.
Roll insight, because his behaviour is a little bit strange. So I'm happy for anyone to roll insight.
Yeah,
this is a little weird now.
It's a little weird now, right?
Actually, the logic of what he just said would mean that he'd be like, okay, well, shit, now you know where I am at all times. I probably do have to do this. It's not his shoe.
No, of course not. It'd be a disguise or something.
Hey, that's not necessary. You don't know what this is.
Insight.
Insight rolls.
That's also not how scrying works. If I wear a coat as a disguise and then you take my coat, I kind of go, well, technically that's not my coat. Fuck off. Read the rule book.
Okay, Tom, what did you get?
My inciting, that is a natural 11.
Chris.
I'm not rolling.
Okay, 12. Hannah?
17.
17. Griff?
It's like a 7.
7. As this individual kind of walks away, it's Phoebe who kind of, probably aptly, since her dad is the god of truth and such, like, you get the sense that actually, with that insight roll and how he's behaving, you are starting to doubt everything he's said.
Don't let him go. Don't let him go. Don't let him go. I don't think he's telling the truth.
There's nothing you can do that's going to be useful to you now. Trust me. You're better off, if you're so keen to go in there, I'd get in there. You've not got long now.
I turn around to the team. If this does become one more score we have to settle, I meant what I said about the shoe, but it does seem low on our priorities list at the moment.
I can shoot him in the back. He's still in range.
I won't stop you.
I bloody will.
I won't.
I'm not engaging.
It's up to you, Captain.
Let him go. We knocked him out once. We could do it again. Let's just go in the house.
Literally just walking away, like...
With one shoe.
Not interfering. Yeah, with one shoe. Cool. Are
Just
you...
rolled inside, haven't I? Yeah.
Yeah, you rolled inside.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and do one last persuasion and just yell after him as he's leaving. Just know, if you betray us, we will find you and we will kill you and the rest of your family. I'm not fucking around here, all right? This I have family too, and if you want to play this game, by all means, you can just walk away with one shoe, go about your business, and that's the end of it. Or you can fuck with us and we will kill you.
Looks over his shoulder at you and just nods and keeps going. Still walking away.
He's a henger. I know it.
Darla's gonna lean over, pat Tinder on the shoulder, and go, "Scary people don't tend to use a lot of words."
Can I just pause for a sec?
Then or not?
I'm just gonna pause. I just want to check. Chris, are you okay? I wanted to check in.
Yeah, that's fine. Just don't particularly want to engage in this scene.
Sure, that's absolutely fine. Cool. So you're there, and you've got the house. This individual has kind of like walked off and isn't engaging with you. How do you want to get in?
Still planning on going up to the front door.
Do we see any magic?
It's 30 feet. It's 30 feet, so I've got to get closer.
30 feet, so you get closer. In terms of magic, you just kind of get different schools and such like, don't you?
Yeah.
You can
schools and locations of magic.
You can tell that just behind the front door, you're getting some quite powerful like senses of strong illusory magic. In terms of like the 30 feet in front of you, that's the main thing that you get. It's quite clear that there is a lot of magic just like wisping off of this house. There is also like faintly a bit more of a sense of transmutation magic somewhere, but you can't quite place it. It's almost like with detect magic, I'm treating that as more of a, if something was very loud, you'd still be able to hear it from further away. So it's more that kind of sense, but definitely behind the door is illusory magic.
I'm assuming Polaris at the front here?
Yeah, I think as we... Is there a kind of like path, garden path vibe?
It's very much like open. It looks like there once was a garden path here, but everything is like just as much as the house is overgrown. A lot of things are overgrown. It looks like relatively derelict.
In which case I lean to Polaris and go, whatever you see or hear behind that door is probably an illusion. I'll try and point them out as we go.
Good to know. Keep your wits about you, everybody. If it all does go pear-shaped and we're separated, well, fallback point will be back there where we had the chat with the fella. All right?
Hannah?
Could I cast guidance on Tender?
Sure.
Yes, please.
Lovely.
So
I'm going to lead the horses to the stable.
Cool. That's easy enough for you to do, and you can like easily tie them up there and rejoin the group. Near the door. Are you heading in?
Oh yeah.
Darla's sticking right behind the captain's shoulder, sword ready.
Cool.
I'll be behind that, just keeping an eye out.
I'm at the back.
Yeah, we're bringing up the rear because I put the horses away.
All right, walk up to the door.
Yep. Opening it up.
I pause and I go, should we just knock?
Do a cool knock, like we're supposed to be here.
I maintain eye contact with Tender and go,
Wasted opportunity.
So you do that cool knock.
it was actively not a cool knock.
That's why I put quotes around it.
Okay.
Cool knock.
That's pretty cool, you know.
Exactly when you...
Yeah.
Miles
I'm
Davis would have loved it.
Yeah.
just checking. Okay, yeah.
So that's how someone would knock if they were meant to be here. Like, you know, just knock, knock, I'm in.
Surely
Now
if they're
you're
meant to
getting
be there,
it.
you just open the door.
Like
What?
polite.
You get this kind of like ripple from behind the door, and then in response to the knock, the door is opened, but by a massive hand, like a huge spectral hand that is officially large, and it just beckons you in.
Is it a magical effect, and am I getting a score from it?
This is not an illusion. You get evocation from this. You realise that there's some illusion still in here, but this is actually real. And this hand just kind of like bobs around like waves, and then having opened the door behind you.
Careful, Polaris, that hand is... well, it's not genuine, it's made of magic, but it'll hurt you if it hits you.
Good to know. I draw my trident. Not looking at it, just holding it now.
The hand is
Here we
starting
go.
to try and back up to like show you where to go.
Cool.
I'd like to walk into the room and then like...
The moment you walk into the room, a
Yeah.
red light starts flashing above your head. You hear the bell of the alarm spell, and also you hear what sounds to be about 3 faithful hounds barking and then running off in 3 different directions. However, Wrath, you're aware that actually this is none of those spells. It's a programmed illusion designed to make it look like those spells are in place.
Wait, everyone calm down. Nothing's happening, it's an illusion. None of this is real.
Oh,
And it fades after about 10
Okay,
minutes,
Wrath.
10 seconds after the dogs have left. The hand kind of goes. Trying to do hand acting for this hand.
Goes,
I'm impossible. I mean, are there other exits from this room? Because I'm a bit like...
that's right.
The hand is trying to lead you round to the right hand side. In front of you are a set of stairs up to the first floor, and to your left there is also an entrance. Everything is open archways rather than doors inside here. It's very much like a stripped back, kind of almost ruinous manor, where you've got empty floorboards and such. Like, there are a huge number of paintings everywhere, however. That's what really covers the space, like paintings like propped up or on walls, etc. And the hand seems to be drawing you into a kind of overgrown dining room space.
Yeah, so follow
I
Polaris.
mean, if she wanted us to just be led straight into a pit of spikes, we could have made this first room the pit of spikes. Alright. I walk towards this thing.
You follow the hand through into the dining room, and the hand starts going, and the back wall of this dining room is completely overgrown, but Wrath, you still have detect magic up, and you can see that part of this is illusory as well. Again, another kind of programmed illusion, and as the hand moves through, there's a slight kind of sound and movement of rustling, but the hand just moves through that space. And if you pass through... It's an illusion, but it's still, you can pass through it, there's nothing there, it's dangerous. And the hand still has like one finger through the wall to just be like, come on.
I prod my trident through the wall first.
Nothing there. I mean, like, at one point it like clangs a bit against a wall there, and there you get the sense there's maybe like a corridor.
Alright. Who's at the back?
Me.
Keep looking over your shoulder.
You walk through and the illusion just kind of flows over your face. And you go into this very small and quite short corridor where the hand is just kind of beckoning you back. And then... Oh...
Are we taking a break sometime soon?
I'm literally 30 seconds of description away from the break.
Sorry, just checking.
The hand comes through, and then once it reaches the end of the corridor and you reach the end of the corridor, the hand shifts to create basically a translucent, transparency wall in front. However, you can just see through it someone in what seems to be a study, a kind of desk set up, still partially overgrown, in this wooden swiveling chair, this hulking kind of big turtle figure with a purple pipe in their mouth, who spins round slowly and just kind of looks at you and goes, well, what do you want then? And that's when we're going to pause for our break. So
totally awesome.
Thank you, everyone. We're going to take like a kind of, I believe it's a 10-minute break. We've got a little counter that I'm going to activate in a second, and we will be back super shortly. We will see you very soon. Bye. Oh, and we're back. If anyone as in players needs to fix any tech stuff, feel free to, because obviously we're
okay like this.
I believe you are. I will do like a little shuffle around. So we left it with all of you following a Big B's hand through an abandoned, seemingly so, kind of manor house that's slightly overgrown, and then stumbling across this turtle who has kind of interposed the hand between you and them, and has spun around and asked you the question of, well, what do you want then? And is currently just looking at all of you, presumably Polaris, because you are coming through a corridor and Polaris is at the front.
The head, yes.
I'm just waiting for Polaris to say things.
Well, I think I speak for all of us when I say we'd like to know very much who you are.
Oh, so we're Marron.
We?
Yes. We're Marron.
Well, we're confused.
Oi.
Oh, may I ask who you are in return?
I'm Polaris. I'm captain of the Lichtenberg. Temporarily. No, captain of the Lichtenberg.
Well, yes, evidently so. And the rest of... Are you calling them a crew? That would be very thematic, wouldn't it? Call them a crew.
They're not my crew. Colleagues at the moment.
Oh, right, well...
I'm Rathar. We were looking for yourself and someone called Celeste.
Oh, is that her? Oh, bloody. Right, So I assume she's the one who's upstairs then. So I know someone is, that's why I needed to... Because I don't move if people have come in, because I need to guard everything, so, right. Well, I mean, I'm here, hello. And I presume, I think she's probably gone upstairs. Oh, I don't, right. Well, there you go.
Is she your friend or just your lodger or?
Ah, lodger. That's an idea, isn't it? That would be funny. Friend, not so. associate. I have very many different relationships with Celeste. I mean, I presume. Exactly why you're looking for me and for her, and having found us. Very well done. Clap for all of you.
Well, we've been told to find Celeste as she's responsible for quite a few bad things that have been happening, and we're trying to stop her doing things.
Specifically doing things again.
Yes, the circle, yes. I assume I'm right, yes? We're right.
Yes, what's this we thing?
What, let me just, try to get the measure of people sometimes is a little bit difficult, obviously. I know I'm keeping you at, I would say arm's reach, but there's no arm attached to the bloody thing, is there? So, yeah.
Very good.
Thank you. I don't get enough compliments. We don't get enough. Sorry. Whenever I is said, that is Chloe accidentally defaulting to I.
Oh, okay.
Apologies. That's very much a Chloe thing.
So
Marron uses exclusively we. Okay.
People in this room we can't see. Are you being level with us?
I'll. One moment. All in good time. All in good time, Captain. Do you mind if I just have a little foot around in your thoughts so I know that you're all on the level?
No, I'd rather not. Thanks very much.
That's rather tiresome. Exactly how can I know then that you're trustworthy? I mean, I can let the hand down, but I'm not...
I'll do you a deal. You can look in my head.
Oh, thank you very much. Much obliged.
The others.
Yeah, understood. I get that you're a you, singular, and just kind of does a little tweak and is just going to go for your surface thoughts. Isn't going to pry. What are your surface thoughts?
Oh, bloody hell. I suppose that in that way that you can't not think of an elephant when someone says don't think of an elephant. But he's already given his name. Yeah. He would be thinking, well, I am Polaris, I am the captain of Lichtenberg. We have indeed come out here to stop this stuff that Celeste seems to have done a long time ago.
Okay, what about if I was to say who sent you? Or who do you work, or if I threw out some other names, what you think of them? Sorry, what was that?
We work for the tree.
Oh, that lot. We're largely above. Oh, but the N something E, N-E, who's that one? I can never remember the full name. The N-E one, that one.
Narisha?
Yes. She involved.
She told us where Celeste was.
Oh, so they've had a falling out. Right. Well, you seem to... Look, you seem to be on the level, and frankly, we think we could take you if necessary, so fine. And doesn't take the hand down, but moves it to the side of the study so that you can enter. In terms of holds up their hand, and a ring that was invisible just kind of shimmers slightly and then shimmers back. Do you know much about, well, basically... There's lots of us, because when one of us dies, new person gets the ring, and we kind of just pass everything down that way. So a while back, we started calling ourselves we. I didn't really seem right. And so if you all want to make Arcana checks in terms of how much you personally would understand this style of magic, or this item.
I rolled a 3. Wrath has no idea, but
this is cool.
Yeah.
I rolled a 21.
21.
Not one. I think you're just a bit freaked out, hon.
11.
If this is what I think it is, I'll just play the Polaris as a booty man. Has seen a lot of come across these, plundered some of these or whatever. He's aware of this kind of ring.
Yeah.
You get to know magical rings if you're
Griff
/privateer.
14.
Cool. So Tender, Aware, and Polaris are all familiar, some of them more than others, with rings of mind shielding. And a ring of mind shielding, if you die wearing it, then your soul goes into the ring and can be communicated with. And what seems to have happened here is basically a kind of tag teaming of this person gains the knowledge of this person, and so their soul has all of that knowledge, but then when they die, it goes to another person, they have all that. And indeed, the picture that you saw of Marron Elestnal when you picked up a picture at the Barrenland camp doesn't look like this individual. So you have to assume it's just a recent Marron.
So if anyone's noticing, probably not, but if anyone's noticing, there's a look of acknowledgement and a look of deep and abiding respect. But it flickers. It's really, really quick, because that would be Aware going, oh, hell, I would love to have coffee with you. And then realizing, oh, fuck, Darla wouldn't have that thought. And it just goes back to this kind of blank surliness.
Right. Well, thanks for leveling with us on that.
No, it's fine.
Sorry, we figured we'd not necessarily be rescuing you, but at the very least helping you leave here. We have a request to make of you, and we assumed you'd want to leave.
Well, request away, but I don't, especially if Celeste is bumbling about the place, I need to stay here.
What's here that Celeste shouldn't get her hands on?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm having to assume whatever she's currently up to, because I never really know. They seem to, her and, what was the name again? N something, E something? Narisha, yes. Her and that lot seem to kind of sometimes be at odds, sometimes be very happy together, as far as we're aware. Sorry, what was the question again? Is it sometimes lot of noises in here?
Why must you stay as long as Celeste is here? What can Celeste not get her hands on?
Right. I mean, you already know about it, don't you? Yes, you already circled one of the littler ones beneath the place. I assume you mentioned the circle. We assume you've mentioned the circle, so we assume that you must know about
Celeste is in this building.
Well, our little programmy thing went off earlier. Not the one that you all activated. So someone's here, and if you say that you're after Celeste, I can only assume it's them. And my normal protocol is just our normal protocol is, if we hear that, to just sit back here, get a hand ready just to kind of preemptively block, and wait if anyone tries to get down here.
You'll forgive my asking, but if somebody came in quite recently, are we in a time-sensitive situation right now?
Oh, probably. I tend to treat... We tend to treat time a little bit, obviously it just strings along for us. Also, no idea what she's doing, so... She hasn't rushed in or anything, so I'm not sure.
I think Wrath has the right idea.
We get to the circle before they do.
You've met...
Probably already there.
Well, apparently they were upstairs.
Oh, yes, she's not getting... That's why I'm here. It's the only entrance.
Oh, right.
And warded and such like, we're no fool.
If you've met Celeste before, and I assume you don't want Celeste to get downstairs either, so if you have any information about how we could best stop Celeste and company, that would be really helpful. We could help each other.
Oof, well, yes. And company, to be honest, I just default in terms of assuming the worst in terms of people wanting to get to the circle. It's normally the safest thing. I know that Celeste has kind of flip-flopped about it somewhat. Narisha always seems very, very keen on it. So I don't know if Celeste is here helping her out with something. But normally it's best to keep them away from it, all of that lot.
Okay.
So you're all looking very deep in thought.
Is there any way... I mean, you'll forgive us, we've been trying to stop them from accessing the various circles, and it sounds like you're already doing that, so do we just help you not let them get through? Do we leave you to it? Do we go and try and find Celeste upstairs, or go down to the circle downstairs? Anything we can do to stop the henge downstairs?
Oh, I don't know if you can stop the one downstairs. It's one of the mini ones. It's one of their little the practices. So you can't really stop it or undo it, but it's just good to make sure that no one gets through to it, because it seems to be ruddy powerful.
In which case, Captain, it sounds like the situation is kind of handled, so we should probably go and talk to Celeste instead.
Go ahead if you want. It'd be good to know exactly what she's doing right now. We can't keep track of whether she wants to start it all over again or whether she's trying to stop it or who's on which side, because it always seems to flip-flop.
Aye, would you mind expanding on that? I mean, first and foremost, we were told she died, and she's back, and you're very...
well, yes.
You know how she came back.
Oh, I've never been able to figure out the precise magic of it. That tree lot don't share much with you, do they?
That's becoming increasingly clear.
The look on Darla's face just gets hard.
Right. Sorry, it's sometimes hard for us to know whether we should really share this with just about anyone. Are you adventurers then? Is that why they got you?
We're Undergods.
Oh, you're some of that lot. Oh, how fast! Oh, well, very, very lovely to hello, Undergods.
Pleasure is ours. Now, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, well, just trying to be civil. Oh, that means... Oh, sorry, no, we can get into that later, I'm sure. Expanding on that. Well, I mean, Celeste obviously was part of... expanding on the death thing. Well, whenever she dies, she comes back.
Does she come back immediately, or does it take time?
Oh, seems to be immediate, but I think she goes somewhere. Was it her and the brother, and there's the other one, the Yuanti, and Narisha. I remembered it that time, didn't I? Good on us. We remembered it that time. Sorry, would you like a chair? Would any of you like chairs? Because you're awfully chatty folks, and I don't want to keep you standing.
I honestly don't think we're going to be able to stay here long enough to have a pleasant sit down.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to stay on my feet if we're having to stop someone come through that doorway.
Absolutely. Your choice.
Phoebe sits on the floor.
I don't really know what to do, because on the one hand, we don't want Celeste getting access to the circle, but it appears Marron here has the situation well in hand. We could go and try and talk to Celeste upstairs and find out what the plan is up there, but that sounds, frankly, like suicide.
Why would Celeste sometimes want these henges, circles, put together, and sometimes not?
Well, she was...
Working...
Oh, so, no. I enjoy hearing others' theories and such.
I would rather you told us if you know. Mine's conjecture.
Oh, no, conjecture's fun.
Oh, well, she and Narisha and her brother and this other person who we don't know all stopped it originally, but why would they have been trying to start it as well? I don't know. That's a piece I don't have. Well, I suppose if Celeste is trying to start it again now, then she is stopping and starting it. But I thought Narisha was just trying to stop it.
Yes, I know, it always gets muddied over the years. I guess that's one of the reasons why it's good to do it a few hundred years apart, because no one can really remember details. Well, apart from us, and I guess them as well. And do you remember? No. None of you... No, you remember. No, okay. Right, well... Essentially, from my understanding, though I've tried to keep myself well out of it, we've tried to keep ourselves well out of it. We were quite impressionable when this all started. We're a few hundred years, only really started existing like this shortly before the circle was built. From my understanding, Celeste was quite enamoured with the idea of the circle to begin with, and has since thought it was a rather poor idea, quite dangerous to go through on, but Narisha's always been very determined in that sense. And so often Celeste seems to have tried to, well, put a bit of a stop to it whilst Narisha pushes onwards.
With the destroying of the world via circles.
Well, they might do that.
Oh, sorry, you're right, okay, the tree doesn't tell us a huge amount, but we also get the impression the tree doesn't fully understand what this thing is. What exactly do these circles do?
Let me see if it's so much easier with my notes. It's so much easier with all the things, but they're all... Oh, that must be why she's up there. She's probably looking at all the notes, trying to see what the options are.
It's something we should stop?
If you want to, I'm not really sure what she's going to get out of them. I assume, but like, if she's upstairs, probably looking at the notes, trying to figure out exactly how to stop the circle, how to undo everything.
Sorry, so yeah, we were under the impression that Celeste was back to do this again, because someone is doing it again. I glance at Tender and I say, the circles, the hinges are back, and they're working and doing things.
Tender points in his face with absolutely no context whatsoever.
No context, Tender.
There's a very strong expression, yes. Well, I mean, yes, they're back. That was the entire point.
But you don't think that Celeste is the one bringing them back. You seem to believe that Celeste is trying to stop this, and maybe Narisha is the one that is actually trying to make this thing happen, which... If that's the case, I need to go and make a call.
Oh, that would be my guess. I mean, I don't know for absolutely sure. You'd have to, maybe you could go talk to Celeste, but to be honest, how it seems to have fallen out for the last few hundred years, that's what we'd think.
Wait, please, if you can remember, I know you don't have your notes, but broadly speaking, either they destroy the world, all these circles, or what do they do? What's the good side? Why would someone want the circles?
Oh, teleportation.
That's it.
That's it?
Well, I mean, fundamentally, the principles of teleportation.
Then why did it teleport me, old?
Well, space isn't the only ready dimension you can teleport through. It's not the only direction of travel.
Time-aportation?
Oh, that's quite a good... That's a fun way of... Maybe I'll update my notes.
So they're just trying to set up the concept of teleportation.
No, but hang on. That doesn't make sense. We've met cultists, and alright, maybe someone's lied to them and told them that it can do things it can't, but they were very, very strongly of the opinion that everyone would die, but then that would mean that no one had died, or something very... death was very much the headline, not time apart.
Chris?
I think... Can I make an intelligence check?
Sure. If anyone else would also like to make an intelligence check, but I'll go to Wrath first, because...
I was just checking to see whether I'm as smart as Wrath or vice versa.
Yeah.
Polaris.
Aye.
If the entirety of this island, this continent went back in time, then no one would have died.
So I didn't need my notes. Oh, that's handy.
These hedges are around.
We didn't need our notes. I'm so sorry. I keep messing up.
If the hedges are around the entire continent, which is they're creating a circle around the entire continent and would send the whole thing back in time, and then no one will have died because none of this will have happened.
But everyone knows. But why does that kill everyone now?
Because they wouldn't have existed.
Right.
It would never
destroy the present, so we get another chance at the past.
Well, just the idea was a cyclical loop.
What's so good about that particular time that they're going back to?
Now, that you'd have to talk to them about, but I don't really know. Well, we somewhat know what it's... Well, it's not quite the same what we have and what they have, but obviously they seem to be have slightly peculiar ways given the don't die thing.
Oh, go on, have a guess.
Have a guess?
Yeah, you say you don't have all the information that they do, but you've got an idea. Let's hear it. You said you like conjecture.
Oh, true, you're smart. You listen. That's what you do. You listen. That's very nice.
I'm good at listening.
Oh, very valuable thing. Don't lose it. Right. Well, conjecture. Well, obviously, if you go back 500 years, that's during or kind of near the start of the sacrificial years. A lot of people died in that time. Way to get them back. See them again.
I got a question.
Oh, yes, you've not... Yes, let's hear more from you.
Who's the snake?
Sorry, the snake.
You said there was a Yuanti. Who's that?
Oh, name begins with S. Not terribly good with some of the names. I know that doesn't really narrow it down with Yuan to be fond of their S sounds.
They as old as everybody else.
Well, I assume so, yes. They just kind of die and then whoop, pop back up.
So we're dealing with people who live forever or come back and otherwise live a lot longer than the rest of us, let's leave it at that. And they, selfishly or otherwise, would like to see an awful lot of people who didn't live as long as them. And so they want to go back.
It sounds if you're immortal, you'd lose everyone.
Exactly. It's a lot of people we miss, but we... Yes.
Hey, this one wouldn't have to have anything to do with that lady who made the temple we was in earlier.
Oh, sorry, I haven't been following your adventures, so I don't know what temples you've been in.
Which temple? The Atulka with the god of destruction, that one.
That's the one. There was that one had the crown on.
Yes.
Aye.
Maybe that's another person who's connected, who is, well, as far as we know, she's dead, but these days, who can say?
I seem to remember when we was on the boat, we was reading that book and it said something about it.
Oh my god. Tender, do you think if you die and if but you don't actually die and you had a diary that could keep you from...
I'm right there with you.
You think that Tender's Itulka?
I wasn't there with you.
No, I wasn't there either. I'm thinking that... Oh, I don't know.
Why are we talking about diaries?
Isla. I need to have a lot of conversations with a lot of different people, but I think one of them needs to be with Celeste.
It sounds like she may be, bizarrely enough, on the same side that we are.
Except we were hired by Narisha to do one very specific thing.
We were hired to stop the magic items being stolen, which were then being used to make these henges, and now it seems that...
Wrath. No, we weren't.
Were we not?
We were hired to get hold of them ourselves and put them all in one place.
Darla just crosses her arms.
Well...
What?
Now, okay, well at least the crown, nobody's got that, because it got stuck inside the thing, right?
But therefore one of them is... And it's not active. Or is it active? I don't know anymore.
It's not, because the ritual wasn't able to be completed.
As far as you know, that area is still being guarded by the tree, because
Presumably
Theristea was setting up something there, but it's still kind of in the henge.
Tender is very, very close to running out of this room with a set with and casting sending, but he wants to talk to Celeste first. But he's running. I think he's just going to run out of this room.
Okay. Are you running to try and find Celeste?
Yeah, I think he's just going to run out into the thing and just go, Celeste!
I'm going to follow at that instinct, because I agree.
Okay. Is anyone else following, or is everyone else staying with Marron?
I want to stay with Marron.
Okay.
I'll stay as well.
I follow the captain.
Cool. So we got a 3 and a 2. For those of you who... I just want to check, because Hannah, you briefly had your kind of hand up, or you did like a little, as though you'd thought of something. Is there anything you need to kind of say to Marron urgently?
Not urgently, no.
Cool. We'll follow those of you. Can you make me a perception or investigation check for trying to figure out where she is? Anyone who's running off.
Don't forget, David, you've... no, it only lasts a minute.
Yeah. Yes.
It was still worth doing it in case.
So that's...
I got a 14.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't. I got a 15. So
Wait.
there.
I got a 19.
Well, see myself out.
5.
Okay. Probably kind of aptly, because you're the first one out and around. Tender goes and kind of suddenly notices like where dust has been disturbed, where carpets have been disturbed, where there's obviously like slightly kind of like dirtied footprints and such like.
And he knows it's upstairs as well.
Yeah.
As he's been told.
You go upstairs and there are 3 doors, but with that roll, and probably because you can hear like slight muttering behind one of the doors. If you go to try it, it seems to be locked, and you can't tell whether it's physically or magically locked.
He's going to just slam on the door and just go, Celeste, my name is Tender Lovinkir, and I have some questions for you.
Right, well, you can ask them through the door. Can you not?
Fine. I'll ask him through the door if you can hear me. Frankly, I'm quite happy to have a door between us anyway.
I can patently hear you because I responded to your previous sentence.
Yeah, all right, good. I was just trying to make sure. Listen, this is... Do you know Narisha?
Yes.
What does she want?
Wait. Question for a question. If you ask one, I get to ask one too.
Ah, right, fine, good.
How do you know Narisha?
I don't think we do, but we know of her by employment.
Who's we?
Me and some other... Listen.
You can all hear this. Anyone else who's like followed, by the way.
My name's Polaris. I'm stood next to Tender. We've been sent by the tree. We thought to stop you.
We have been sent by the tree to stop you. However, whatever you do may not be what actually we want. It's complicated. Open the door!
There is a slight magical ripple as the arcane lock on the door dissipates. But there is there's an additional ripple, and you can see the same figure that you saw back in Aira when Narisha conjured up the image of her. She is standing in the middle of what looks to be like a room full of notes, supplies, items used for spells, components, etc. But you can see just like a very faint, kind of almost cylindrically around her, a very faint wall of force. I will talk to you, but please excuse me if I make sure I'm safe while doing so.
The very fact he's not tried to kill us yet makes me very happy with this arrangement.
She's holding something which you can pretty safely presume, given its like inky black appearance, to be Cloudkiller.
Huh.
Oh, hello. Sorry, there's 3 of you. Right, okay.
What are you doing here?
I'm here to destroy this. Won't fix everything, but it'll buy time.
Buy time for what? Sorry, question for a question. You want to go ahead?
Integrity.
Who are you?
A little while ago. Who are we?
Yes.
Nobody. Nothing important, apparently. We're a bunch of dupes.
Find that hard to believe.
Look, we'll say this quick, right? We was hired to stop you. Problem is, we don't like the people hired us no more. We think they're lying to us. We would like to know who it is we need to kill.
What they said.
I've got a feeling the people who you need to kill, it's very hard to kill them / well, I guess I'd fall into... Killing is a very difficult concept.
I'll take a whack at it.
What did you say, Waterman?
I said we've been learning all about that.
Right. Well, so you won't stop me if I try to destroy this?
I'd help you. Do you want a hammer?
I was going to go a little bit more elaborate than a hammer.
I wouldn't mind knowing exactly what you'd be buying time for by doing it.
Stopping the circle, but I haven't figured out how to really stop it quite yet, because obviously you destroy one thing, just find a new magic item, but can at least keep it...
Did you not want the circle to be made hundreds of years ago?
Well, yes, but one is allowed to change one's mind over hundreds of years.
I'm not disputing that. I'd like to know why.
As far as I can tell, it's more... takes down the wall of force. And just kind of still holding on to Cloud Killer. It would be easy for me to say that I suddenly realised that the magic may be more volatile and we couldn't necessarily rely on it to do what we wanted, but then one would be not entirely honest, would one? Doesn't seem a very satisfactory answer to say, I realised it wouldn't really give us what we wanted. I don't think it would improve anything.
What did you want?
It's frightfully lonely. I mean, they've got each other, but I'm persona non grata to them. It's frightfully, you can't really get attached to anyone when you know they're all going to die before you are.
Sorry, this is a thing that I've written down and is badly written. The name of the person in the who the diary thinks I am, I've got written.
Kalaya.
Kalaya. That is an I. Right. I'm just gonna. Do you know Kalaya?
One of those undergod types.
But not one of you.
No. One of the lucky ones.
She died.
I'm sorry?
Because she died.
Well, yes, I suppose so, because she dies, but then she comes back, but she doesn't remember, so she doesn't have to go through the whole process, does she? Sorry, Hannah's face. I'm just...
Celeste, I am very up for having an extended conversation with you, but I suppose the real one question I have to ask you right now is... I don't know if I can... Would you trust Narisha with somebody's protection?
No.
Tender runs out of the room.
Okay. We're going to pause things with Celeste there. Back to Marron with Phoebe and with Rath. Is there anything in particular you're looking to ask or speak to Marron about?
Why do...
Oh.
Yeah. Marron.
Yes.
Why do you, plural, stay out of it? Stay out of all this fighting with Celeste and with Narisha and the Yuan-Ti who we don't know and you can't remember, and Aiden. Why, if you know them all, why stay out of it?
Why would we actively want to get more involved with it?
Because then you get sort of trapped near circles. And it's like an imprisonment, but you've chosen it. And you can't go anywhere, you're stuck here.
Never really thought it. Well, no, we were fine for a few hundred years because the plan was always to leave it for a few hundred years. It's only now that it's become a bit more imperative to protect ones.
Okay, but that means that if you will live as long as you have people to whom you can pass the ring down to,
Well, yes.
that means that every few hundred years you're going to be stuck back here because you don't get involved. But that means you are involved. It means that they're dictating what you're doing with your lives. Your life. Don't know how this works.
Oh no, that's quite alright. Hadn't thought of it like that. To be honest, most of us do plenty of things and then have the ring for a few years, then pass it on. So we'd get to do plenty. Get to kind of go around and then get all this knowledge, which can be mighty useful. Obviously, we've been trying to think if there's anything we can do, but it's rather difficult to figure out how to stop someone who can't really be stopped.
So the circle that's beneath here is inactive?
Oh, no. No, it's one of the most successful ones. One that proved that everything works. Well, can, in a form.
So it's still active?
Yes.
Well, let's destroy it. Let's shut it down.
Well, it's a bit difficult, obviously. You destroy something with a lot of magical energy. You don't know exactly where all that magical energy is going to go. Are you destroying the actual energy, or are you merely destroying the container for the energy? Is something of a question. That's why I'm still doing a lot of research and such, like, to see what can be done.
We thought we'd destroyed one of them. We thought we'd stopped one of them from being activated, and it now sounds like it might have been given directly to the people who are trying to activate them all. So if there's one here that we can destroy that will stop them from doing this, we should do it now.
Oh, well, it's one of the practice ones. It's nothing to do with the wider circle.
So it's just there.
Everyone was rather smart about it, obviously. You practice to make sure that the magic actually works before you spend all your time doing a bloody big one.
Sure, but that means if we get this theory of how to get rid of the little one, that should translate into how to get rid of a bigger one, right?
Not a bad thought either.
Thank you.
Got lots of good thoughts, haven't you?
I try. I just ask.
I'd say you succeed.
Oh, before we run off after our friends.
Oh yes, quite.
Do you know anything about soul extraction?
That is, well, I mean, I'll like holds up the hand where the ring is still invisible, but you know, that's what was there. Well, I obviously know something about souls and such. It was rather fascinating. What? I mean, I could have a think about. We could have a think about soul extraction.
Well, it might help get rid of one more magical item. We've got a dragon friend whose sibling was trapped in an egg at the same time as, oh gosh, I can't remember, but there's two souls in one egg.
Yes.
As a Medusa. There's two souls, one egg, and if we could separate out the souls, then that would be really helpful. That's why we came to find you in the first place, actually. Not just because you're clearly clever and all the rest.
Oh, well, there's a difference between being clever and just amassing knowledge. I mean, obviously, that's not to say that we're not necessarily that clever, but yes. No, it's rather fascinating. I suppose it depends. I guess if you've got an egg, it's like you've got the yolk and the albumin, but you need to make sure they both get out and the yolk hasn't broken, because otherwise it all just becomes one kind of big yellow splodge.
Oh well, it's sort of it's definitely frozen. It doesn't look like a normal egg anymore.
Oh, don't worry. I wasn't assuming it was. We weren't assuming it was totally normal. I could investigate. It's nothing. I don't have anything for it immediately.
Okay, well, if you could start thinking about it, that would be really helpful, because we've got a dragon friend that we made a promise to.
Oh,
and it would
nice
be one less magical item, which is what we want.
So, we will absolutely have a think about that.
Okay.
Are your friends all right? Can they handle themselves?
I don't know. Ras?
Yes?
Shall we head upstairs and see if anything needs setting on fire?
I suppose so. Marron?
Yes?
What does... Do you think us being Undergods has anything to do with this? Because all 5 of us are, and we were brought together to do this big job, and it's too much of a coincidence.
No, that sounds about right. Coincidences aren't really a thing you actually come by. Not that, well, we don't think so. There's something there, but several hundred years back. You go have a talk. We're going to check through some books. There's something. It's that blasted tale. Something about that tale. Yes, I'll.
Sorry. Did you say it? Is it the ghostly tale?
Yes, it's that thing. But I can't quite piece it together. But we've got books here somewhere.
Okay, let's go and come back.
Do go and come back. I will stay right here, to be honest. And are you heading off?
I think Phoebe will.
If there's no sounds of combat from upstairs, are there?
No, not currently.
I think I'd probably stay.
Okay.
Just sort of, if there was a chair proper, I'd go and sit in it.
I assume it's not easy, the god thing.
No, it's, I get the sense that not only have we been quite resolutely duped into this, but also that there may be a reason we've been duped into this that I don't know, and that's extremely disconcerting.
Yes, not knowing things is a very disconcerting experience. Don't like it at all when we find it. But you know what? I assume you can read?
Yes.
Right, and just plonks a big book in your lap and gets a big book on theirs and starts going through. Just says, I don't really know what to tell you to look for, but if you see anything about the tale or there's something else, but it'll come back to us.
Sure. As I start looking through it, there is a faint ripple and the appearance changes again to... there's a half-orc, slightly piratical. People have seen him before.
Cool. Everyone else, so if we kind of rejoin with Celeste and Phoebe is joining like a minute or so into this. But
I was actually hoping to run into Tender.
Okay. Tender is like dashing out of the door.
Hard not to.
Yeah. Tender will be barreling out the door, and he's going to take out the speaking stone that he uses to talk to.
Splendid. Yep. Oh yeah, sorry, your mic's going a bit in and out.
But I'll.
You're back. That's good.
Yeah, there we go. Right, so he's gonna run out of the thing, grab the sending stone, look at it for a second, and then plunge it back into his pocket and use his last 3rd level spell to cast sending to Cal.
Okay. Oh, Cal's voice. Okay.
Because he doesn't know if he can trust anyone anymore, and I think there's probably only one person he can.
Yeah.
And he's just gonna, like, he's gonna have to cast it and then actually stop and breathe. Cal, no thing's not great tween us. Splendid, not safe. With tree. And sorry, this is me out of that. I know where she is, right?
You know that she's at a tree base in Odeval. So you could say Odeval.
Odeval. Will try to get there, but I've lost count. Has anyone else kept?
I think you've got at least another...
I think I've got 5, yeah.
Left at 10. Yeah.
may not be in time.
There's just a moment, like a few moments, obviously.
He's actually not expecting a reply, if there isn't one.
There is a reply. It's not necessarily going to be like the full 24 words.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'll go. Love you very, very. And that's all you get. It's a very short sending.
And Phoebe will probably come into it's like a lobby area, right? There's the stairs.
Yeah, you can have just like come down into the hallway, basically.
She will come in to find Tender just grabbing paintings and throwing them and cursing Melody.
Oh, that's for context. That's Tender's god.
And he'll just be saying, "Is this what it is? You want me to? Is this karmic? I know. I found out karma's a bitch. You want me to feel like I know I threatened his family, but I didn't mean it. I wasn't actually going to do anything. All right, look, don't let this happen. I know I." And then he's just throwing things, and he's looking, and he'll look up at Phoebe.
Phoebe's going to pick up a painting and also chuck it. And then go, why are we throwing things?
Because life's not fair, except it is.
What's happened?
And that's the most unfair.
What's happened?
I don't think Splendid is safe. And I don't think the people we're working for can be trusted, and I don't think that any of us are smart enough or powerful enough to do anything about it.
Well, I know somewhere where Splendid could be safe.
Good.
Not gonna like it, but you could send them to the temple.
To be honest, that's probably where Cal's gonna take her anyway.
I'm sorry.
I want to get back there as quickly as I can to help out Cal if possible, but I know that we've probably got bigger fish to fry right here, or bigger circles to square. I've done what I can. I've sent the best person for the job. It's certainly not flipping me. And he pulls another painting and just tosses it across the room. And then just says, "You go and you should probably talk to Celeste. You're better at listening than any of us. I'm a little out of sorts right now. I think I need to take a walk."
Phoebe's going to chuck one more painting and then, like, very carefully approach and go, "It's gonna be alright," and try to hug Tender.
Tender is going to hug you real hard, but you can tell that's not really for you. He's going to hug you really, really hard, and then kind of grab you by the shoulders and just go little tap. Be like, go see if something needs setting fire to. I'm going to go see to the horses.
Okay. And Phoebe turns around, runs upstairs to try and do what Tender has asked.
We'll rejoin with the conversation with Celeste, and then Phoebe can kind of enter that in. But if there's anything that Polaris and Aware want to say to Celeste.
Oh, I hear you got a trick of not being dead.
Well, yes, evidently.
Neat trick.
Well, yes, the first few hundred times, I'm sure.
How you manage it?
Well, you drink from a well of immortality, it rather tends to happen.
All you did that?
Yes, we were basically an adventuring group back in the day.
How many of yous?
4.
Oh,
Myself and Narisha and my brother and Sueska.
Oh, that's that S one.
But, yes. I'm sorry. If you're actually on my side, well, shall we go and destroy this then?
Gosh, I don't know. There's a couple of people seem to think that can't even be done.
Well, I was hoping if we flung it... Well, yes, I suppose it is a cards on the table type of time. I was assuming that if I flung it into that circle, knowing that's the one that actually works, then it would just get back in time or destroyed or some such.
That's two different things.
Well, that's why I said or. That's why I used a conjunctive between them.
I'm just saying there's very different outcomes to those two things, and I think maybe we should know which one it's going to be before we do things, yeah? Maybe planning at this stage is key.
Either way, it's not here. That was rather my aim.
What's not here?
But either way, if it's destroyed or if it's back in time, it's not here. This, like gesturing to the huge kind of weird, slightly shadow-encrusted item.
Who's to stop someone walking in right through the front door the second you throw it back in time, having found it a long time ago and arranged for it to arrive right back here right now? Time travel's fairly new to me, but I know bits and pieces.
Well, yes, it becomes a rather confusing thing, but the thing is, whoever's back in time would have to know that I'd done this in the future, or it buys a little bit of time. It delays the process, it makes it harder to find.
Why wouldn't it give you what you want?
I'm not really a fan of the sentimental, but it seems to grow on you after a time. I don't think it will make us any more happy or any less lonely.
So it...
Going in circles with the same people so we don't lose them, I don't think it's going to change things.
So you go... So you build all these circles. You send this whole continent back in time. With you on it, with everyone on... This is what I can't figure out. If the whole continent goes back in time, why isn't everyone on the continent still alive and just back in time?
What? Marron's the one who has the sage's brain. And it seems that actually if you...
The captain's brain. Simple it.
Teleportation. Obviously, we're typically used to it being a person or a humanoid or some such, a creature being sent from one place to another.
Oh, yeah.
But if you combine that kind of magic with... If you look at transmutation, and there are means of stopping time or forwarding time, ravaging it, I believe is how they say, then why is there not a means of going back and back and back and back? And for some people, going back is simply never being born. For some people, and just gestures very casually to you, it's going back to whatever I suppose used to be before this. And for some of us, it's just going back to when we were still alive. Well, obviously I'm not dead now, but you see the point.
Is the whole point you're trying to make it so you can die?
No, it's so that no one around us does.
Undo the life thing?
I don't know if that's possible.
What time are you trying to get back to?
It was just to keep it to about 500 years. That way, when you get back to this point, it automatically resets, and at least anyone you've lost you see again.
So you're not sending the whole island back in time. You're rewinding time across the whole island.
Yes, Captain's brain.
By 500 years.
Yes. Still gives a little bit of room.
What happens to things that aren't on the island?
Then they aren't on the island. Wasn't really very easy or practical to suddenly erect them in the middle of the ocean. Tried to capture as much as we could.
And you've realised that while it might work on its own terms, it wouldn't actually work by doing the thing you actually want, which is making you happy. Letting you see the people that you miss.
I think after time we'd still come up against the same problems.
You talked to the turtle yet?
Oh, not yet. Just walked up here. saw the hand and such, but I knew they wouldn't bother me if I just didn't bother them.
Seems like the kind of person you should ask their opinion before you go through the things.
Yes, but I never know exactly how up to speed Marron is, or what kind of personality they currently have.
You know, just once in my life, I'd like to not be in the middle of somebody else's problems.
Well, I'm sorry that I cannot help you with that particular quandary.
Maybe you can. Let's go talk to the turtle.
Fine.
I think I'll just go turn around and start walking downstairs.
Celeste looks to Polaris in a kind of, am I alright to
I go to the door and go. But then as we... Are we going down some stairs?
Yeah.
I'd like to say... The people you sent after us to get your bits and pieces back. One of them was a bit funny.
Wait, I'm sorry, who?
Insight.
Roll insight.
15!
Completely genuine question. Doesn't know who you're talking about.
Oh, fuck.
Horace is more surprised than Tom.
Can Polaris please make a intelligence check?
I keep forgetting. He's a Eldritch Knight, so yes, he can. Except when he rolls a 2, so that's a 5.
You feel like there's something additional, but you can't quite grab it.
Nagging at me.
Yeah.
I was worried you'd say that.
Right.
Pause card.
My battery's about to die, so I'm just going to swap it over. So I'll go black for about 10 seconds and I'll be back.
Okay. Cool. I'm just going
Letting everyone know.
to check that, because I think we'll lose Chris's camera, but hopefully not lose everyone else's, though it might get a little bit messy. Oh, that's the neatest it could have possibly happened.
Yay, I can still hear you.
Normally this stuff goes really messy. Cool. If that's cool with you, Chris, then we'll keep going.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, you can still hear. So we've got people going back to Marron. We've got Tender dealing with the horses outside. Phoebe, Hannah, everyone's going to come down and we'll kind of meet. Oh, that's very odd.
Sorry,
and meet Phoebe. Should we just say that kind of Celeste and everyone comes down, if that's all right, just to kind of help
Absolutely.
with that. Cool. And Rath is looking through books with Marron.
Yeah. All sorted. Thank you.
Did I hear that between the captain and Celeste?
I mean, Celeste wasn't trying to be quiet. I don't know if Polaris was.
So can I insight? Can I insight that comment?
What comment?
The who?
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can insight the asking of who.
Well, maybe it would be, basically I'm trying to see if I can get the same idea that...
Yeah, then roll insight, just to see if Aware's on the same level as Polaris.
I do believe that's an 11 at best.
You'd still get that rough thing. I'm just going to roll a intelligence check for Celeste.
Wait, no, sorry, that is the 5. I was reading the wrong stuff.
Okay, you can't quite tell, you're still kind of suspicious and guarded, but it doesn't seem like a really blatant lie.
Red mist at the moment. Darla's not looking nice.
Celeste kind of still talking like over her shoulder, but as you're walking through, the people, whoever you're talking about, what did they do? What did they want?
You cat.
Oh,
yeah, sorry, that was over shoulder to Polaris. Sorry.
Sorry, the people who did what?
The ones who apparently I sent, even though I don't know what you mean.
We were chased through the badger forest. We were shot at. They were desperate to get hold of the items that we had that allowed us to find you. Scrying, I'm sure you're familiar. They said Or at least this fella did. They were sent by you.
Well, yes, I presume the miscommunication or misunderstanding come up somewhere. They didn't get them, right?
No.
So they just left?
Some of them ran into some trouble. The other one, we let him walk away, but we reminded him that we know how to find people if we've got their shoes.
I'm sorry, I can't quite tell if that's some kind of metaphor.
Cap took his boat.
Aye, scry him.
Right. That is an 18. Get rid of it.
I pull it out of my pack. I mean, I can punch it really hard, but you're probably better at that sort of thing than me.
I don't...
I throw it up in the air and then shock bolt it.
Cool, I'm going to say that just... Yes, I understand.
Wisps, I suppose, will be falling down. Is that destroyed enough?
Yes. It no longer... I'm going to just be like, it kind of has just... pretty much to nothing. Obviously, I understand that's a respectable thing to do with scrying. You're not familiar with teleporting, are you?
No, I'm the pilot of a ship.
Right. If people have an object they're familiar with, they can teleport straight to it. Would have been able to follow his boot.
What? Some smuggler who'd been paid on a job 50 gold to come and find your stuff?
That's the information that he told you.
Aye. See,
the person who said that I sent them.
And I walk up and I went, I told you I was lying.
Right, let's proceed, shall we? And you're now coming into the space. Chris, has Raph just been reading alongside Marron?
Yeah, just reading, trying to... The sense of guilt is quite high, that potentially been involved in making the world worse, which was the whole point of taking this job, to do the opposite. So that sucks for them.
How transparent is that? Like, if I were to roll insight from Marron...
Well, Marron doesn't know how my changing stuff works, but Raph has changed into their form that represents guilt, so yeah, like... And also the form that represents guilt is dead. Like, it's a person that they...
Mm-hmm.
killed, so there is a certain amount of I think it'd be pretty visible. Wouldn't try and hide it.
Hold on to things quite tightly, don't you?
It's hard not to be nostalgic.
Oh yes, can understand that. I mean, we're made up of a form of nostalgia or some such.
So am I, strangely, in places.
Oh, is that your which is the colour stew?
Yes.
Right. But you haven't found the way to deal with it yet?
No.
It's a learnt thing, and I promise it does happen. We promise.
You learn to live with it?
Yes, of course. I mean, we live with hundreds and hundreds of years of spent actions and follies, and obviously our involvement in this isn't something that we're the most proud of. I mean, from a analytical level, in terms of what we've achieved in terms of spells and magic, obviously arcana, that's something to be very proud of, but the other aspect of it, not. You just...
Why are you involved in this? I thought you just lived in the same house.
Oh no, I consulted. I'm a sage. A mage. Words.
Wow.
You have to learn just to... You had that phrase about the bird? Baby birds. You hold on to them so that they can't go, but you don't hold so tight that you hurt them. It's about finding the right way to hold things.
Which point Wrath shifts out of Thaddeus, out of the guilt form, back into their own, and just... trying to make peace. I can see that.
Yes, exactly. Right. Reading. And then you all can kind of come back into this space. I just want to check with David. is Tender like briefly checking on the horses? Is Tender just like out with the horses until someone comes and gets him?
He went out to check on the horses, had a moment of just, especially the one that he gave inspiration to. He's going to go out and...
Sorry, you're back.
And I'm back. Just went out to have a little nose stroke of the one that he gave inspiration to. And he is, just before he goes back inside, he is going to very briefly consult with Isla.
Okay.
And he's just going to take out the book and just say, Isla.
Hi!
Hi. So, I'm the undergod of chaos and destruction, right?
Yay, you finally remember!
Yeah, definitely I remember. Now, what do we know about destroying circles?
Circles?
Yeah, Asterno circles. In particular.
I don't remember you telling me anything about Asterno circles. I mean, you did do a lot of talk about destroying, but I don't remember that any of it was about circles.
Yeah. If you happen to, have anything tucked away that I did mention about just general destruction on a fairly grand scale, do let me know.
Okay, I'll have a think. Should I tell you like this, or do we need to use this stay codime against stay?
Ende. Whose way in a code.
Okay, say.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dear diary, today I destroyed lots of things. Let me tell you all about it.
I mean, that's kind of what I was hoping.
Yeah. There's still we'll come to some stuff a little bit later, but I'm aware of like time as well.
Yeah,
but I'll remind you
that's
kind of
right. I was
between
like-
some sessions of some bits that.
Well, I have a think about it. I will re-enter the space and be...
Yeah, for kind of smoothness, we'll say that you kind of tail along at the back of the little train that includes Celeste, and you head into the room where Marron is. Sorry, I wasn't sure if this was going to be mediated in some way. Oh, hello. I'm not doing the entire thing back and forth, so there'll have to be some mediating.
Celeste, Marron, have a long conversation while the rest of us listen.
Right, both of you don't want these circles to continue to be made.
Oh, good. Well, yes, if Celeste is on that side, then very good. Lovely for you to come and join us.
And I think as part of that, we'd like to know what we're doing with this item here.
My hope was throwing it in the, the one in the cave beneath here. Would at least destroy it or some such in a way that it couldn't be used and at least sets her back a few steps. Right.
Marron,
yes.
do you have any knowledge about destroying magical artifacts that doesn't involve putting it in a circle where we don't know what would happen if we put it in a circle?
Well, to be honest, in terms of something of that strength, I mean, yes, that's the cloudy one. To be honest, something like that, phylacteries and some such, there's a lot of powerful magic involved in those. So it's I can see how that would work in theory, putting it into the circle. Who has the highest passive perception?
Not me.
Probably me.
10.
Oh, they say they know.
Probably me.
That would make sense.
Definitely.
Trying to find my passive.
Mine's 12.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, 18.
Yeah. You hear a kind of small sound that's just like and the sound of like some feet just hitting very gently some wood floorboards.
There's someone outside.
Can I
Okay.
roll an Arcana to see what I know about bags of holding?
Sure.
9.
9.
Specifically, what I want to know is, do I know that if I destroy it, anything in it gets lost in the astral plane?
With a 9, you don't know that for certain.
Okay.
You think there's stuff around bags of holding, you're not sure. At Phoebe saying there's someone here. Well then, look, it is the best option we have. I want to go down. I'm
If we think it's the best option, I mean, Phoebe, when you say they're here, just do you see something? Do you hear something?
I heard something. I heard someone.
Everyone can now start hearing some footsteps approaching.
Are these on the same level as us, or are they floorboard steps outside, above our heads, rather?
It sounds like they are ones on the same level, but further along in the house.
Everyone go downstairs and deal with it. Polaris, everyone go downstairs, and I turn into Celeste. I can buy you some time. Is that good? Yes, that'll work.
Mighty unnerving. Right. Okay, quick. Well,
I'll stay up here with Wrath, but I'll try and hide. I'm not leaving you on your own.
It's fine. If this is the best way to deal with it, go and deal with it. I'll buy you some time.
Let's go.
Marron kind of nods and just makes this hand gesture, and this hole in the floor just kind of swirls and opens up, and there is a cavernous kind of corridor that goes down beneath the house. And Marron says, I'll lead you, it's a bit labyrinthine.
I'll take the rear.
And the rest of you just kind of in the middle. With Marron's help, you'll be able to go through here. It's got various types of guards and wards up on it, but Marron knows either exactly how they're triggered or where they are, and therefore you are able to start kind of pegging it round into what seems to be like almost like a small cave system underneath the house. Wrath Tender, there are...
I take the shades off and give them to Tender. Just in case.
Ooh.
Tender kind of looks at him and starts putting them... All right, no, you're just making it.
Picks up your colour.
2 individuals appear. One of them is very familiar. Well, looks exactly like the individual who used Disintegrate on themselves in the Barren Lands. Hood, mask, fully covered. There is another individual who has some kind of a very distinctive port wine stain on the left-hand side of his face. There's enough of a passing family resemblance to Celeste, and he is like her. He is also an elf. And these 2 individuals, he is wearing like much more normal clothes. He is not wearing a mask. He is not wearing a robe, but they come through.
What took you so long?
Just point of order, I'm going to try and stealth.
Sure, can you roll me a stealth check, please?
Against these mighty, powerful beings.
Roll me a stealth check.
That is a... Come on now. Suspense. Keep hitting the wrong buttons. That is a 14.
The masked figure doesn't see you, but the other person.
Cool.
Who's this?
Oh, one of my many underlings I brought along to help me with this process. You'd know, wouldn't you, Aiden? Stab in the dark, taking it.
It's a correct stab. However, can you make me a deception check? Because
if I do this as a mage, I get advantage on this.
You get advantage. I'm going to roll insight for him. That is shitty insight.
At 20.
Yeah, baby.
27 technically.
Where is it? Cloud Killer, come on.
Oh, well, if I told you, you'd just kill me straight away, wouldn't you? And then I'll come back and you have to find me all over again.
I mean, I'd know exactly where you are.
Well, then I'll have a bit of a head start, won't I?
The individual to his side is just looking. I'm also going to give them a insight check. Oh. That is insight. That is a 21.
Oh,
It's not enough.
Damn it. Would have been so cool. But just looks.
I'm not going to tell you. You know I want to stop this, and I know you're trying to kick it all off. So, what a good opportunity to have a chat before you inevitably try and kill me and I inevitably return again. So, at least now the cards are on the table, aren't they?
You forget how sentimental you are, though, and he is going to dive for Tender and try to grab Tender.
I use my aura of nostalgia immediately.
Okay.
Saving throws from both of them and from Tender, technically.
His is it's a 7 on the dice, and he that's only going to be like a 10, I think, for him.
15. So.
Hers is a 16 on the. Theirs is a 16 on the dice. So.
Well, I still him.
Yeah.
I make him stop. Because I make him stop with images of the past, things that he likes, things that he'll be nostalgic about, which now that we know a lot more about them is even more fucking tragic.
Yeah. He is taken back to a time before they became immortal in this way.
Ooh, yeah.
That's where the nostalgia lies.
I got a 15.
You pass as well. He is still, his speed is reduced to 0.
Cool. His speed is reduced to 0. Theirs is not, though. So the masked figure, seeing this, is still going to dive for Tender. We'll hit initiative in a second. Whilst this is happening, this is buying all of you some time, so you're kind of running down and through all these things and past these webs and being told to go to the left so you don't incur the suggestion trigger that's over there, and seeing all these myths but being led through by Marron, who's can be speedy for a turtle when they try, with Celeste holding Cloud Killer as well, and you've got like a little bit of time. Can I just get let's Hannah, can you call odds or evens, and this is whether NPCs go first or PCs go first, with Tender and Wrath?
Evens.
Odds. I rolled a 1. So it is going to be the masked figures go first.
Sorry.
Not your fault.
Damn it, Hannah.
Just my luck.
Which one's your luck?
The masked figure is just going to try and grab you because wants to.
Me or Tender?
Tender. And that is in terms of. Can you make me a strength roll, David?
Is it athletic? Is it a grapple?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Contested strength.
Yeah, I can also do Hellish Rebuke. They touch me.
Is that if they damage?
If they attack me. So if they're just trying to grapple me, maybe that's not it. But my roll for, was it just strength?
Yes.
That is I got a -1 to strength. Tender. 18.
19.
Oh! Can the horse help me? Can the horse that I gave?
Burst through the door.
The horse that I gave inspiration to, like a clever boy.
If you only had some way to like drag that horse inside here directly to you, like some kind of winch. But you don't.
No.
This cloaked figure just grabs you and starts to drag you downstairs, down into the caves. And that is what they're going to use their turn for. Adon is not. Can Adon make like a fresh roll, or is it just maintained, this nostalgia?
I believe it's a fresh roll ever at the end of his turn.
Okay, at the end of his turn, he's going to make another roll.
So I check.
Double check.
It's at the end of their turn.
at the end of that turn, you see like the shift in the eyes, because that was an 18 on the dice, and it kind of ripples down and across. Well, we've established you're not my sister.
Right. Damn it. Do I go next? Because it is my turn if it's now our turn.
Yeah, I think we'll say, because sometimes you two decide, but because Tender's currently grabbed.
I'll accept that.
How far down the stairway has presumably whatever the
Ciuesca
gone? Ciuesca, thank you. How far have they gone down the stairs with Tender? How far away are they from this?
About 30 feet. About 15 feet, because having to drag a heavy person.
Tender, close your eyes. Hypnotic pattern in the middle of the room, trying to get both of them.
Okay.
I need to make a wisdom saving throw. I have to close my eyes, obviously.
That's a 17 and a 19 on those dice. These dice have suddenly... So, you try to do that. Tender, do you try to break out?
I am going to cast something.
It's my last spell slot.
Yeah, I am going to... I've been rolling real well. Maybe I should just do this. I am going to cast Blink.
Okay.
Just to get out of there. I should be able to appear on the ethereal plane and blink out, right?
I believe so. Just to check, Blink isn't one where
if I roll an 11 or higher.
If you roll an 11 or higher, then roll for it.
Go on.
Go on.
It's an 8.
Oh.
You
It's still active, it's concentration.
It's still active for 1 minute, yeah.
Yeah, but for the moment you are still being dragged by this masked figure who you can now presume is...
I'm going to keep this spell running because that was my last spell shot, so...
Meanwhile, with the other group, you manage to get to this internal cave where there is this kind of sunken circle. So actually the top of it is ground floor with you, but you would have to jump in or dive in to be within it. But around you is this kind of slightly familiar black rock, almost volcanic-y, and you'd recognise it. Well, if the two people who had the sending stones were down here, would recognise it as that weird black obsidian of the sending stones that you've found before being used by the Dawn. You are there with Marron, with Celeste, kind of perched over there. Celeste just about ready to throw this in, but obviously still looking to make sure that everyone is on board with this plan, because you don't know what happens if you throw this in there. Meanwhile, upstairs, Tender is being dragged down here, and suddenly Wrath is locked in a strange kind of conflict with someone who is now at least aware that even if Wrath looks like his sister, Wrath is not her at all. And with that moment of not quite knowing what's going to happen with each three of these groups, that is where we're going to pause and end this month's session. So thank you so much for everyone who has been watching. I'm just going to check that I've got all the stuff that I need to say on our kind of way out. We do this every month. We do Undergods every month, but we also do a lot of other streaming. Every Monday, 6 to 9 p.m. BST, we stream on this channel and also on twitch.tv/D&D. And for the next 6 weeks, we've got something really cool. We've got something called Untold Tales, which are different one-shots, but taking things like heists or demon hunters or eerie shipwrecks and putting a little bit of a new spin on them of just how we do things. So do check that out. Do check out our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/Adventurers Wanted, and that has all of our past things. It's got all the previous Undergods episodes. It's got Star Trek Adventures, it's got D&D, it's got various different things, but there's plenty of stuff if you're looking for some actual play to watch. Additionally, if you want to kind of keep abreast of what's coming up with us, then at Adventures250 on Twitter. Normally Undergods is right at the start of the month. This is normally a live show, so it's not The timing of it changes a little bit sometimes, but if you keep an eye on our Twitter, it'll be really easy to see when we're up to things. Additionally, you can also support us by becoming a patron on patreon.com/Adventurers Wanted. You get freebies like games like this or other games as playable modules, or you get homebrews, you get blogs about writing games, about role play, about planning and DMing, all that kind of stuff. If you go over there and help us kind of do more of these things. Another quick thanks to our sponsors, D&D Beyond, who, courtesy of this overlay that we've got here, Ultra Pro and all their cool things, Hero Forge as well, who've newly joined us, and we're super excited to get involved with some of their cool 3D printed minis. And also, again, to our supporter, the Thornless Rose, who makes incredible gaming accessories. Everyone else who's on the stream does things beyond this stream, and so I'm going to hand over to you all. Let's go alphabetical order again, so we know what we're doing. And if you'd like to plug anything that you are kind of up to in this very odd time, go ahead.
Well, I run the company with you guys, so you've said everything I would be plugging. All good. Join us for Untold Tales. I'm doing the other half. It's going to be fantastic.
Lovely. 80% of the cast here do Teacher de Phoenix on a Wednesday night, which is the...
It's beginning to feel a little personal.
Yes.
Oh, Tom.
It's just not been the right character for you, Tom.
It's hard to cast me, I know.
Yeah. How do you cast you as anything other than Tom Black or a pirate? Yes, so I do that. Yeah, but... Absolutely. My wonderful wife and I also have a production company called Flamingo House, which at the moment, obviously we're not really doing anything, but I am reading Wind in the Willows, which we are on the final chapter, 5:30 every day, except for this day, where probably tomorrow I'm going to finish off Wind in the Willows.
Find me online. Find me on Twitter at the Sarah Griffin. Find me on Instagram. You will see when I am up to cool projects like this or Théâtre Phoenix. We've got a couple of other interesting things in the works, so once that gets finalized, I'll be very excited to talk about that. I also do online tuition, specifically accent tuition and actor coaching. So if you like what I do with my face, get in touch. I will teach you how to do it with yours.
Hi, I'm Hannah. My Twitter is probably the best way to find out more about me. It's at Challah Out Loud, like the Jewish bread, and then out loud. And I also tutor, where I tutor for like exams like the 11 plus and international relations and history and English. And I'm a poet, a professional poet. So if you ever want some bespoke poetry, something to keep you going during these interesting times, I'm happy to talk about that as well. Yeah.
Yes, I'm also on Twitter. I am Tom Black UK on Twitter, and I run a publishing company called Sea Lion Press, which publishes alternate history fiction, and recently passed the milestone of having 100 books on sale since we started in 2015. Reading is one of the activities that is going up during all this, so if you are interested in dipping your toe into the water of alternate history, or if you're a big counterfactualist already, we have a lot of stories covering all kinds of time periods, parts of the world. Pleased to say we now cover all continents except Antarctica, and there's only one story about Antarctica, and we're never going to publish it because it's horrendous. Sorry, it's kind of controversially well written, but it is about cannibalism, because that's the only way society can survive on Antarctica. So we don't publish that, so don't come and read that from us, but have a look at sealionpress.co.uk if you would like to read the other books that we do publish. sealionpress.co.uk. Thank you very much.
I'm also going to super quickly plug Roll Flip Draw, which is where I publish small-scale tabletop role-playing games on itch.io, or itch. I still don't know whether you're meant to say the IO bit, but rollflipdraw.itch.io, and there's various ones there, and some of them are especially made to be easily playable during lockdowns and if you are isolating. Cool, I believe that is all of the bits and pieces, and so have a lovely rest of your Tuesday, and hopefully we will see you on one of our future streams very soon. Bye!